But He Shuiyun did not stop walking. Su Jiaming shouted at her back, "I am not coming back for dinner tonight." He Shuiyun did not turn back. Her figure quickly disappeared at the end of the stairs on the second floor. Su Jiaming looked at the empty stairs and suddenly snorted. He turned around and left the villa and went back to the company to take care of business. He went straight back to his room and immediately closed the door. He Shuiyun then leaned behind the door and let out a long sigh. After a while, she left the room and walked towards the small room on the left that was specially used to store clothes. This small room was on the east side of He Shuiyun's sleeping room. It was more than 20 square meters, and there were large cabinets on all three sides. Clothes from the four seasons were neatly placed there. On one side of the cabinet, there was a full-body mirror on the door. Coming here, He Shuiyun first took off the black middle heels on her feet and put them away. Then she untied the dress tied behind her waist and pulled the zipper on her back. The black dress that she was wearing slid down gently, and He Shuiyun's beautiful and alluring body appeared in the mirror in front of her. Such a graceful and beautiful figure, coupled with He Shuiyun's beautiful face, made her look very charming. However, He Shuiyun's face was currently filled with a bitter and lonely expression. It was as if she was a lovely Chu-Chu who was crying in her room. After changing into her comfortable home clothes, He Shuiyun went out of the room. She picked up a book from the cabinet beside the bed and sat on the rattan chair by the balcony. She quietly read the book. The book in her hand, on the cover, had the words Zhang Ailing's Classic written on it. Until the night when Su Jiaming and Su Jinsheng did not come back, He Shuiyun had her own dinner. In this spacious, luxurious, palatial villa, when she left, there were only a few servants, and those servants could not eat with her at the same time. So even though He Shuiyun was not alone, she appeared to be even more lonely. After dinner, she took a shower and continued to watch the Zhang Ailing Literature channel. Then, she watched the television for a while. Until around 10 o'clock at night, when Su Jiaming and his son had not returned yet, she went to bed by herself. Lying on the soft and spacious bed and looking at the pitch-black sky flower above, 2 drops of tears suddenly flowed out from the corners of He Shuiyun's eyes and glittered in the darkness. Almost every night, she slept alone like today. She felt like a little bird that was imprisoned in a gorgeous cage. Although she did not have to worry about food and clothing, no one knew her sadness and loneliness. As her thoughts ran wild, she fell asleep in a daze. "Shuiyun, this star-tear necklace, Mom will give it to you, all right?" In the dream, a kind and beautiful woman handed the tear-like sapphire necklace to her. "Mom, isn't this a gift from Dad?" she said to the beautiful woman.
Yes.
The woman lovingly stroked He Shuiyun's head. "So, when you meet someone you truly like in the future, give this necklace to him. But you have to remember, it must be the person you truly like who can give it to him." He Shuiyun nodded repeatedly. "Got it, Mom." Just as she was about to throw herself into her mother's embrace and enjoy her mother's warmth, she suddenly heard a rough male voice coming from the sky. "He Shuiyun. He Shuiyun. Where did you die?" The dream was broken. He Shuiyun slowly opened her eyes and saw a figure at the door of the room. She was stunned at first. Then her whole body shook and her heart was very nervous and fearful. She quickly sat up and hugged the blanket to protect herself in front of her, and immediately turned on the table lamp at the bedside. Under the light, He Shuiyun was able to see the figure clearly. It was her husband, Su Jinsheng. She heaved a sigh of relief, but she also saw that Su Jinsheng's face was red and his eyes were relaxed. The tie on his clothes was also crooked. His feet were leaning against the door frame, and there was an unpleasant smell of alcohol coming from afar. "You drank again?" He Shuiyun covered her mouth and nose and said with a frown. For so many years, Su Jinsheng did not return all night. He came back with an unpleasant smell of alcohol. Sometimes he even got drunk. This place did not seem to be his home. It was more like a hotel. He could come back whenever he wanted. If he did not want to come back, he would not come back. Su Jinsheng touched the door and turned on the lights in the room. He also walked in with light steps. Although his legs were weak, Su Jinsheng was not completely drunk. He was still conscious. He could recognize that the person sitting on the bed was He Shuiyun. As he walked, he shouted to He Shuiyun, "He Shuiyun, why are you the wife of someone else? Why didn't you come to serve when you saw your husband come back?" He Shuiyun did not do anything but said lightly, "You have never treated me as your wife. Furthermore, there are many women who are willing to serve you. F***CKU. Who would talk to their husband like that?" Borrowing the alcohol, Su Jinsheng cursed. He Shuiyun's face turned cold when she heard Su Jinsheng insult her mother, who had passed away many years ago. However, she pursed her lips and did not say anything, nor did she pay attention to Su Jinsheng. "Damn it. You are like a wooden puppet. I am too lazy to bother with you. Su Jinsheng walked into the bathroom while cursing. After he took a shower, Su Jinsheng's drunkenness was also washed away. He used a towel to wipe his hair and said to He Shuiyun, "Hey, I heard you met a robber at the bank today. Nothing happened, right?" "Yes, but seeing that you are perfectly fine now, there should be nothing wrong with you." As his wife, she had met a bandit who killed without blinking his eyes in the bank. Her life was tied to the line, and she had to risk her life to come back safely. Now that Su Jinsheng had said such words, it made He Shuiyan feel cold and angry. She still did not speak. She just thought that Su Jinsheng's words were like the wind blowing by her ears. "It seems like someone has saved you. Who is that guy? How can he be so fierce? How can he not be afraid of those provincial flag soldiers?" Su Jinsheng asked again. He Shuiyan said coldly, "That's right. He is indeed much braver than you." Su Jinsheng heard her and snorted coldly. "What is that guy's name? Since he saved my wife, I have to thank him properly." Looking at his expression and tone, it did not seem like he wanted to thank anyone. Instead, it seemed like he wanted to take revenge. "His name is Zhou Hao." He Shuiyun's voice was soft and indifferent. "Oh, so he is called Zhou Hao." Su Jinsheng snorted and laughed. Then his expression changed, and he suddenly stared at He Shuiyan. "Wait, who is that person? Who is that person? Zhou Hao? Which Zhou Hao?" He Shuiyun glanced at him. "That's the Zhou Hao you know. He happened to be in the bank too, so he saved me." After hearing He Shuiyan's words, Su Jinsheng's face turned red again, and it was even worse than when he was drunk just now. He hurriedly walked towards He Shuiyun. He Shuiyun saw him rushing over and was somewhat afraid in her heart. She hurriedly turned around and crawled to the other side of the bed. Looking at Su Jinsheng vigilantly, "What do you want to do?" "What do I want to do?" Su Jinsheng glared at He Shuiyun fiercely. "You actually let that be asterisk star Zhou Hao save you? So what? Is it wrong for me to be saved?" He Shuiyan said, "Do you want me to be taken hostage by those robbers, or even beaten to death by them?" She heard Su Jinsheng shout, "Didn't I tell you before? That Zhou Hao has a grudge with me. You are my wife, so you should not let him save you. I would rather you be beaten to death by the robbers than let that be asterisk star Zhou Hao save you." He Shuiyan was stunned when she heard that. Even though she knew that she had no relationship with Su Jinsheng, she did not expect Su Jinsheng to be so cold and say such words. "Su Jinsheng, are you still a man?" He Shuiyan could not bear it anymore and asked. Su Jinsheng's face changed, as if he had been stabbed in the spot. He angrily scolded He Shuiyan. "I am not a man. Is Zhou Hao a man?" "I know. You must have seen that Zhou Hao was handsome and had a crush on him, right? Do you still want to be like those women in ancient times? Do you want to marry yourself after being saved by Zhou Hao? You shameless be asterisk tch. I knew it. You pretended to be a lady on the surface. In fact, you are a b asterisk tch who craves to be f asterisk ked by a man." He Shuiyan heard Su Jinsheng's words and became more and more unpleasant to hear. She was so angry that her chest kept rising and falling. "Su Jinsheng, you are useless. You came to slander me." Su Jinsheng almost went crazy when he heard the word useless. He yelled at He Shuiyan, "What useless? Nonsense." His eyes turned red as he stared at He Shuiyan. "It was you who cast some kind of demonic spell on me that made me become like this. Otherwise, why would I be like this only to you? Me, but to other women, I am vigorous and fierce. That's your own problem. Don't drag me into it." He Shuiyan replied. Suddenly, Su Jinsheng, who was in a state of fury, calmed down. His face revealed a sneer full of ridicule. "I know you don't like me at all. I'm afraid you've wanted to divorce me for a long time. However, you know that the He family claims to be a noble family. Their daughter has never gotten a divorce. Even if you want to, your father won't agree to it, so as to avoid bringing shame to the He family. Humph, even my father won't let me divorce you. Those old fellows will only care about their own face." Seeing He Shuiyan's face turn pale, Su Jinsheng said even more complacently, "However, over all these years, you haven't even laid an egg. Let me tell you, after I have given birth to a child with another woman, I will divorce you. Then, everyone will know that you are a woman who can't give birth to a son. I will make sure that the He family won't see anyone in the future." He Shuiyan's face turned cold. She took a few deep breaths and said calmly, "You can do whatever you want. I can't do anything about it, and I don't want to do anything about it." Looking at He Shuiyan's calm face, Su Jinsheng coldly snorted, "Damn it, you are so unlucky when I look at you. But let me tell you, even if I can't do anything to you, you are my legal wife. So you better not get involved with that be asterisk star Zhou Hao. If there is any scandal, I don't mind. Everyone knows that I am the victim, but you, the young lady of He family, will bring shame to He family. You, get lost. When He Shuyan heard that Su Jinsheng was slandering her and Zhou Hao, she couldn't help but become angry. She threw the pillow on the bed at Su Jinsheng. It was fine that she was insulted by Su Jinsheng, but Zhou Hao had saved her with great difficulty and was still slandered by Su Jinsheng like this. He Shuyan couldn't help but be angry. Su Jinsheng waved his hand and knocked away the pillow that was flying towards him. If you want to leave, then leave. Do you think I really want to come back? Facing a wooden person like you. Let me see your bad luck. After saying that, he turned around and changed his clothes. Then, he walked out of the room and slammed the door shut. Su Jinsheng's footsteps could be heard coming from outside. He walked further and further until he disappeared. He Shuayun was left alone in the room. She bit her lips and looked at the empty room. Finally, she threw herself onto the bed and cried. Actually, after being married to Su Jinsheng for more than 5 years, He Shuayun was still a virgin. Originally, the two of them were not free to fall in love. Instead, it was the business marriage between the two families that was forcibly brought together by the two families. Until the time they got married, the number of times He Shuayun and Su Jinsheng met could be counted with one hand. Although she did not have much feelings for Su Jinsheng, that was He Hongsen's decision. He Shuyan had no choice but to choose which family she belonged to. At that time, He Shuyan thought that relationships could be slowly nurtured. As long as Su Jinsheng could be a good husband and treat her well, she would accept it and be willing to be the wife of Su family. But later on, He Shuyan realized that Su Jinsheng was not a good person at all. He was good at gambling, and bragging. He also liked to hook up with female celebrities in the entertainment industry. Those magazines would expose which female celebrity he went to a luxury hotel with every now and then, so gradually, He Shuyan did not have any hope for him. Furthermore, Su Jinsheng and He Shuyan did not have a normal husband and wife life at all. For some reason, Su Jinsheng had a bad habit of standing up in front of He Shuyan. However, when he faced other women, he was as vigorous as a normal man and did not have any abnormalities. Su Jinsheng had also looked for many doctors to examine his body for this. But no matter which hospital he went to, he did not find any problems with his body. Therefore, Su Jinsheng blamed this on He Shuyan. After that, he was even more unwilling to go home and spend the night. He would spend every night enjoying himself. Therefore, He Shuyan only had the title of the Su family's young mistress. She did not have any relationship with Su Jinsheng at all. In these 5 years, she had also lived that kind of sad life in front of others and behind them. The flowers bloomed, and soon after He Shuayun and Su Jiaming left the police station, Zhou Hao also left. It was already past 4 o'clock in the afternoon when they came out of the police station. Zhou Hao's original Porsche had also been beaten up by the bank robbers and turned into a hornet's nest. The insurance company had also sent people to the police station to look for Zhou Hao. They said that they would compensate Zhou Hao and that they would repair the Porsche. However, this was a good sports car that had been turned into this. Even if it was repaired, Zhou Hao would still have a knot in his heart, so he decided to buy another one. Without a car to ride on, Zhou Hao called Su Lin, planning to ask her to send someone to pick him up. Coincidentally, Su Lin told her that she had already picked up Liang Xiaobing at the airport, so she conveniently brought Zhou Hao along. So the moment Zhou Hao left the police station, he saw a Mercedes-Benz car parked outside. It was Su Lin driving over. Zhou Hao sat in the back seat and a soft body immediately jumped into his arms. It was Liang Xiaobing, who had just returned from New York. Zhou Hao naturally would not refuse a beauty falling into his arms. He held her tightly with both hands behind her back. After coming back from New York this time, although Liang Xiaobing's appearance did not change much, she had become more mature than before. There was another thing that had not changed for her, which was her feelings for Zhou Hao. She leaned tightly in Zhou Hao's arms, greedily breathing in the male aura that she had missed for a long time. She did not say any romantic words. She just quietly stuck close to Zhou Hao, quietly enjoying his chest. Did you have a good time in New York? Zhou Hao hugged her and asked softly. No, Zhou Hao said. Liang Xiaobing pouted slightly and looked at Zhou Hao with her big bright eyes. If you are not by my side, how can I live well? I don't care. You must stay with me this time. Don't leave so quickly. Okay. I'm afraid you won't be able to chase me away even if you drive me away. Zhou Hao laughed. Liang Xiaobing held Zhou Hao's shoulder and kissed him on the lips. She took the initiative to offer her ding incense. Zhou Hao suddenly felt the fragrance and softness in his mouth. He was happy to enjoy it. Liang Xiaobing usually had a sweet and soft tongue like cotton candy. His hands were not idle either as he moved back and forth between Liang Xiaobing's waist and buttocks. Su Lin, who was driving in front, saw the two people hugging and kissing in the back seat through the mirror and smiled. I remember. I will make it up to them. It was not until Su Lin drove the car back to the half-mountain villa that the two of them reluctantly separated. Liang Xiaobing's breathing was also very rapid, and she breathed heavily due to lack of oxygen. However, her face clearly showed that she was not satisfied. Helping Liang Xiaobing carry her luggage into the house, Zhou Hao also asked at the same time, "Where are the female soldiers that I arranged for you?" They went back to the base after getting off the plane. Liang Xiaobing smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "They also asked me to thank you. This time, you gave each of them a lot more money than they could get in the army these years. They also said that if I need them in the future, I can still find them." Because the few female soldiers that Zhou Hao borrowed from Lu Jinwu used to protect Liang Xiaobing, they ate and slept with her. Therefore, after these 2 months of being together, Liang Xiaobing had established a deep relationship with them. "Zhou Hao, I didn't expect that you would really buy over the Asia Television Limited." Liang Xiaobing hugged Zhou Hao's arm, and her expression was very excited. Although Asia Television Limited has been suppressed by the wireless, it is still Hong Kong's second-largest television station. "I didn't expect you to buy it so quietly." Zhou Hao smiled. "Yes, it was all for you and me. From now on, you will be the #1 artiste in Asia Television Limited." Although Zhou Hao's acquisition of the Asia Television Limited was not entirely for Liang Xiaobing. However, it was also because Xiao Yifu and the others betrayed Liang Xiaobing for the sake of benefits that Zhou Hao made this decision in a fit of anger. Liang Xiaobing also knew that Zhou Hao had stepped on Xiao Yifu's residence for her sake at that time, and had angrily rebuked Sixth Uncle, who was the king of the television industry. Therefore, when she heard Zhou Hao's words, Liang Xiaobing was really moved to the extreme, and she once again offered her own kiss to him. After they finally separated, Zhou Hao said to Liang Xiaobing, "But now, we have already set up various plans for Asia Television Limited. A few television dramas and programs have already been closely prepared, so in a short period of time, you still don't have the chance to act." What he said was the truth. "I Have a Date with the Zombies" was being filmed closely. As the director of the creation department, Chen Shursan and Xian Jiwei were in charge of filming, and he was also writing the second script according to Zhou Hao's instructions. Under Zhou Hao's guidance, the plot of Chen Shursan's second zombie was basically the same as the plot of Zhou Hao's previous life. As for the third part, after the lessons of Asia Television Limited in his previous life, Zhou Hao did not plan to film it. This was also following the principle of, a good show is not better than the second part. In his previous life, traversing 4 seas, which had once suppressed the wireless to the point of not being able to raise its head, Zhou Hao also left it to Li Zhaoxi to prepare and plan to start filming next year. There was also the idol drama Meteor Garden, which was adapted from the original manga. Chai Zhiping and Kai Yushuan were also in the midst of enthusiastic preparations. After Zhou Hao's suggestion, they planned to take a view at Xiamen University, which was known as the most beautiful school in China. When they heard Zhou Hao say that they could not film television dramas in the short term, Liang Xiaobing was a little disappointed, but she heard Zhou Hao ask, "But, are you willing to be a singer and produce a record?" Zhou Hao remembered that in his previous life, Liang Xiaobing had sung songs before, and they were very pleasant to the ears. Liang Xiaobing was also very talented in singing. Zhou Hao knew this, so he decided to let her produce records during this period of free time. Of course, it was an agreement with North Pole Star, because there was a record company under North Pole Star, which was bought from Xianghuaqiang. They had all the talents and equipment, and could be used immediately. Dang, as a singer? Liang Xiaobing did not expect Zhou Hao to have such a thought. Indeed, Liang Xiaobing also liked to sing. She thought that her singing ability was not bad, but she had never thought of being a singer. She blinked her big eyes and said hesitantly, But I have never had this kind of experience." Zhou Hao smiled. "Actually, it's nothing much. It's just like you going to karaoke to sing." At this time, Su Lin also walked over and said to Liang Xiaobing, "You can go and try. Even if it doesn't work, Zhou Hao will still be there. You don't know, this guy was broadcasting live in Hong Kong some time ago and sang a song by himself, 'Love Me Don't Go.' Now that the song is popular in Hong Kong and Taiwan, even Sony, Globe, and a few other record companies want to sign a contract with him." Liang Xiaobing immediately looked at Zhou Hao in surprise. "Really? Zhou Hao, you are also a singer?" Zhou Hao smiled bitterly, and Su Lin also said, "Not really. It is actually like this." She moved closer to Liang Xiaobing's ear and whispered something, but she did not know that Zhou Hao could actually hear her words clearly. So Liang Xiaobing also knew about the matter between Wang Shijuan and Situ Jianying. So she pursed her lips and gave Zhou Hao 2 punches. "Imph, you dissolute big radish. You actually took advantage of the time when I was not in Hong Kong to hook up with 2 young girls?" Su Lin, you were also there at that time. You should have said that to him. Actually, Liang Xiaobing also knew that Zhou Hao had other women, but she had been in the entertainment industry for so many years and was slowly getting used to these things. After so many twists and turns, she deeply believed that Zhou Hao was the destined son of heaven. Furthermore, her first time was with Su Lin to present it to Zhou Hao. With this precedent, she could only turn a blind eye to Zhou Hao's dissolute behavior. Making a record, I can give it a try. However, I'm afraid that if I don't sing well, I will lose face for you, Liang Xiaobing said. Zhou Hao reached out his index finger and pointed at the tip of her nose. What's our relationship? Do we still need to care about this? Besides, with me around, there won't be any problems. All right then. Liang Xiaobing finally nodded her head and then said, however, I want to see you sing that song, Love Me Don't Go. Su Lin immediately said, come over, I have a video of him at that time. Then she took out a disc from the cabinet under the TV and put it on the VCD player. On the big screen television, the scene of Zhou Hao sitting in front of a triangular piano immediately appeared. He was saying the words of apology to Wang Shijun into the camera. Liang Xiaobing sat on the sofa with Su Lin in anticipation and quietly watched Zhou Hao play and sing on the TV screen. Zhou Hao helplessly shook his head and moved Liang Xiaobing's luggage to her room on the second floor. After helping her put down the luggage, the screen was playing the video of Zhou Hao playing the piano and singing Love Me Don't Go and Zhou Hao's charming singing. Liang Xiaobing, who was sitting on the sofa and watching the television and listening to Zhou Hao sing, actually had tears in her eyes. After Zhou Hao finished singing, Liang Xiaobing turned her head around and looked at Zhou Hao with watery eyes. She sobbed softly and said, you big bad guy, you are so annoying. If you use this trick in the future, what other woman can escape? Even though he already knew that Zhou Hao's touching words before he sang were not directed at him, he looked at Zhou Hao's sincere expression on the screen and watched him sing with deep affection. In particular, the lyrics of Love Me Don't Go were so outstanding that even Liang Xiaobing, who heard it for the first time, was deeply moved. She said to Zhou Hao, I don't want to do it. You have to make a song for me too. Zhou Hao could not bear to refuse when he saw the pitiful look in Liang Xiaobing's eyes. Furthermore, he wanted to make Liang Xiaobing into a singer. He had originally planned to take out some popular songs from his previous life. Now, he could use them to make it easier for him. So he smiled and said, okay, I promise you, okay? Su Lin, who was sitting next to Liang Xiaobing, did not make this request to Zhou Hao because she knew that it was not easy to compose a song. It took a lot of time and effort, so she did not want to make things difficult for Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao sat on the armrest of the sofa and put his arm around Su Lin's shoulder. Su Lin, I also made a song for you. Su Lin, who originally did not have much hope, could not help but feel surprised when she heard Zhou Hao's words. She took the initiative to kiss the corner of Zhou Hao's mouth to express her gratitude. After that, in order to celebrate Liang Xiaobing's return from New York, Zhou Hao personally cooked a table of good dishes and celebrated with Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing. Liang Xiaobing was in New York. Although she could also eat Chinese food in a restaurant, she also missed Zhou Hao's culinary skills very much. Now that she had the chance to taste it again, she naturally let go of it and gorged on it. At night, Su Lin knew that Liang Xiaobing and Zhou Hao had not seen each other for more than 2 months, so she left the space for them and went back to her room. Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing naturally did not reject Su Lin's good intentions. At this time, the two of them were on the big bed in Zhou Hao's room, making a mess. Late at night, the two of them had already calmed down and were sleeping in each other's arms. Liang Xiaobing was like a kitten in Zhou Hao's arms, with a happy smile on her face. Zhou Hao was also hugging her shoulder, snoring. At this moment, Zhou Hao's phone suddenly rang. It sounded very ear-piercing in the quiet night. Liang Xiaobing, who was in his arms, moved slightly and muttered, "How, there is a phone?" Zhou Hao reached his hand to the cabinet beside the bed and picked up the phone that was placed there. He put it next to his ear and said with some dissatisfaction, "Who is it? It's so late." "Yes, is it Zhou Hao? Sorry, I called you so late." An apologetic and gentle voice came from the other side of the phone. Zhou Hao recognized it. It was He Shuiyun's voice. Zhou Hao had given his name card to He Shuiyun when he was at the police station today. His phone number was on the business card. Zhou Hao recognized He Shuiyun's voice and slowed down his tone. "Mrs. Su? I'm Zhou Hao. Is there anything I can help you with?" He really did not understand why He Shuiyun would call him so late at night. There was silence on the other side of the phone. After a long while, Zhou Hao thought that He Shuiyun had called him. However, he could clearly hear Mrs. Su's soft breathing coming from the other side of the phone. "Mrs. Su?" Zhou Hao called again. After a long hesitation, Mrs. Su finally opened her mouth. Zhou, can you come out and have a drink with me? I can't sleep alone. He Shuiyun's words stunned Zhou for a moment. You can't sleep alone. This sentence indeed gave people more imagination. No, can't I? He Shuiyun sighed on the other side of the phone. It's okay. It's so late and I'm still disturbing you. It's my fault. Then goodbye. After saying that, she hung up the phone. Wait. Zhou quickly shouted. He Shuiyun was Su Jinxing's wife. Although Zhou felt pity for her, he never thought of provoking her. After all, Mrs. Su's identity was obvious, and it was impossible for Zhou and Su Jinxing to forget their past grudges. However, when Zhou heard He Shuiyun's voice that hid deep sorrow on the phone, Zhou could not bear to reject her from 1,000 miles away. In any case, Zhou did not harbor any evil thoughts. If he had a clear conscience, he did not need to care about anything else. So Zhou said to He Shuiyun, all right then, where is it? Hearing that Zhou agreed to her, He Shuiyun was delighted in her heart and said, let's go to the coffee shop in the Peninsula Hotel. It is open 24 hours a day, and it is also relatively quiet. There are not that many people there. Obviously, she also knew that it would be inappropriate to let others see it. Although she knew that she had no personal feelings with Zhou, it would not be good if these things were spread out. Then I'll go over now. Zhou put down the phone after saying that. Liang Xiaobing, who was in his arms, knew he was going out. She asked quietly, it is so late. Where are you going? In her heart, she was somewhat dissatisfied with the person who disturbed her and Zhou's enjoyment of their two lives. I'm going to see a friend. Zhou gently placed Liang Xiaobing on the bed and leaned over to kiss her forehead. You go and sleep well. I will be back soon. Okay. Liang Xiaobing nodded slightly and said, then go and come back quickly. Zhou answered and helped her with the blanket again. He then put on his clothes and left the room with light footsteps. He drove to the Peninsula Hotel and took the elevator to the coffee shop upstairs. It was already past 3 o'clock in the morning, so there were only a few tables of customers in the coffee shop. Is this Mr. Zhou? After entering the coffee shop, a young waiter came forward and asked Zhou. Zhou was stunned for a moment, then nodded at him. That's right, I am. Missy is already waiting for you inside. Please follow me. The waiter said to Zhou and brought him to the front of a room. When Zhou heard that it was Miss he couldn't help but think. This Miss was obviously He Shuiyun. But now she did not use Mrs. Su's identity. Just as he was thinking, the waiter pushed open the door of the room and brought Zhou inside. The room was not big, but it was decorated very elegantly. The lights were dim, and there was gentle music playing. The environment was very good. There was a table in the middle of the room. A beautiful woman wearing a dark blue silk dress was sitting there. It was He Shuiyun. When He Shuiyun saw Zhou, a smile appeared on her originally blank and melancholy face. She stood up and greeted Zhou. Mr. Zhou? Zhou also nodded at her. They sat opposite each other. The waiter also went to He Shuiyun's side and politely asked, Miss He, may I ask if you can place the order? Seeing He Shuiyun nod her head, he asked again, then may I ask what you want to drink? Red wine. A bottle of 1982 Lafite. He Shuiyun said softly. The waiter wrote it on the menu, then turned around to look at Zhou. Zhou saw that He Shuiyun had already ordered red wine. As a man, if he drank Sprite or coffee, he would lose face, so he said, then let's have Leifui. After the waiter left, only Zhou and He Shuiyun were left in the dark room. Zhou inadvertently looked at He Shuiyun, who was opposite him. He saw that she did not deliberately put on makeup on her face. Only her cherry lips were slightly covered with a layer of light color, and she was currently wearing a dark blue silk dress. Other than the texture and color being different from the black dress in the morning, the style was actually similar. It could also be seen that He Shuiyun was very fond of this kind of dress. But this kind of dress that was just right to her knees also had the same style. It was very good to show He Shuiyun's slender and graceful figure. It was both noble and did not have the feeling of deliberately revealing it. Perhaps because she noticed Zhou's gaze, or perhaps because she was facing Zhou alone, He Shuiyun appeared to be a little nervous. She said to Zhou, I'm sorry, Mr. Zhou. It's so late, and I still called you out to drink with me. You were probably still sleeping just now. Zhou shrugged and smiled. No, I was watching TV. I haven't slept yet. He Shuiyun, on the other hand, knew that Zhou should have already slept. She only said that because she didn't want to make herself feel guilty. She couldn't help but think that Zhou was really considerate and thoughtful. It was completely different from what Su Jinxing had said. By the way, Mrs. Su, you came out so late at night. Aren't you worried at home? Zhou asked her. Mr. Su, isn't he home? The Mr. Su he was talking about was Su Jinsheng. He Shuiyun sighed. He often isn't at home. You should know him. He spends almost every night out drinking and drinking. He doesn't want to go home at all. When Zhou Hao heard this, he felt a little upset. A beauty like He Shuiyun, even if she was married, should be kept at home and protected. But now, it seemed that not only did He Shuiyun entrust her to someone else, she also had to endure Su Jinsheng's cold treatment. He Shuiyun pulled her hair to the back of her head and looked at the crystal glass cup on the coffee table in front of her. Her eyes gradually became blurred. He just got drunk and came back. When he found out that you saved me from those bank robbers, he actually said that he would rather be beaten to death than let you save me. She lowered her head, but her eyes were filled with tears. When Zhou Hao heard this, he was also shocked to the point of being dumbfounded. Although he had a deep grudge with her, he actually did not care about his wife's safety. This was simply the heart and lungs of a wolf. Even Zhou Hao did not know what to say to comfort her. At this time, the door was knocked. He Shuiyun hurriedly reached out and wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes. Come in. The door was opened, and the waiter came in with a bottle of red wine. He skillfully opened it and poured it into Zhou Hao and He Shuiyun's cups. Please enjoy your meal, the waiter said. He put down the bottle and left. Before Zhou Hao could say anything, He Shuiyun raised the glass and said to Zhou Hao, Come, Mr. Zhou, drink with me. Originally, He Shuiyun was a reserved and elegant lady from a rich family, but now she acted like this. It could be seen how sad and disappointed she was in her heart. Zhou Hao knew that at this moment, any consoling words would be useless, so he could only raise his wine cup. He Shuiyun raised her neck and poured the glass of red wine into her mouth. She drank it like a rich guest, stunning Zhou Hao. Furthermore, after He Shuiyun drank the glass, she poured another glass, and then drank it all in one gulp again. After drinking 3 or 4 glasses of red wine like this, 2 red clouds rose on He Shuiyun's moving face, and she looked even more charming. Although red wine was not as strong as white wine and Western wine, the aftereffects were very strong. Without realizing it, it would make people drunk. He Shuiyun was obviously not a person who could drink. After 3 or 4 drinks, her eyes became misty, but she seemed to not know that she was drunk and still wanted to reach out to pour the wine. Zhou Hao hurriedly grabbed her jade-like hand that was on the bottle and advised, Mrs. Su, enough? If you drink again, you will be drunk. He Shuiyun looked at Zhou Hao and then smiled with self-mockery and sadness. Mrs. Su? I am not Mrs. Su. I have never been Mrs. Su. I have nothing to do with Su family, and I have nothing to do with them. She was smiling, but tears had already flowed out of her eyes, slowly leaving 2 wet marks on her face. Seeing her like this, Zhou Hao also felt uncomfortable in his heart. Furthermore, that was someone else's personal matter, so Zhou Hao did not want to randomly interrupt. Do you know? He Shuiyun propped her head up and looked at the tall glass cup in her hand. Su Jinsheng and I are not husband and wife at all. He can't be a man in front of me. He Shuiyun would not tell anyone about this extremely private matter. Even Su Jinsheng's father, Su Jiaming, did not know about it. However, under the influence of the alcohol, He Shuiyun had suffered for too long. She urgently needed someone to tell her, so she told Zhou Hao about it. Zhou Hao was also shocked when he heard that. In the previous yacht incident, Su Jinsheng had clearly brought a few models out to sea. From the looks of it, he did not look like a person who had no sexual ability. At this time, he heard He Shuiyun say, but it's very strange. He is only like this in front of me. To other women, he is vigorous and fierce. There is nothing abnormal about him. She shook her head. But this is also good. It will also prevent my innocent body from being ruined in his hands. Zhou Hao was shocked. He did not expect He Shuiyun to be still a virgin after being married to Su Jinsheng for so many years. Out of curiosity, he could not help but use the art of observing people to carefully observe He Shuiyun. He found that her eyebrows had not dissipated and her aura was not turbid. Her body was indeed still as clean as ice and jade. He had gone to many hospitals for physical examinations, but all the examinations showed that there was no problem with his body. He Shuiyun seemed to be talking to herself. Later, I suspected that there was something wrong with his mind, so I went to ask some psychologists myself. Later, the psychiatrist told me. He Shuiyun said to Zhou Hao, Su Jinsheng's condition could be caused by mental problems. It could be that he is under a lot of stress. It could also be that he is not interested in me. There is another possibility. The psychiatrist said that when Su Jinsheng faced me, he might have a deep sense of inferiority in his subconscious, which is why he can't be a man in front of me. Compared to the first 2, Zhou Hao believed in the last possibility more. Because he had heard before that some men felt inferior in front of women, so they had problems with premature ejaculation, impotence, and even impotence. And although Su Jinsheng was wealthy, in the eyes of many women, he was an outstanding man. However, He Shuiyun's family background was not the slightest bit inferior to theirs. He had even had sex with her before. Furthermore, Zhou Hao heard from Zhang Yingpei that He Shuiyun graduated from the Business Management Department of Oxford University. Her talent was very good. She was a typical case of both good and good looks. Although Su Jinsheng would never admit it, he knew in his heart that if he excluded the Su family's power, he was not worthy of He Shuiyun at all. At the same time, he also knew that He Shuiyun was different from those female celebrities and models that he kept as his mistress. She would never submit to him for money. Because of all these, Su Jinsheng did not look like much on the surface, but he subconsciously felt a deep sense of inferiority towards He Shuiyun, making him unable to be a normal man in front of He Shuiyun. Fine. I don't like him at all. It's better this way now. He Shuiyun said to herself. Su. Miss He. Zhou Hao said to her, actually, if you are not happy with Su Jinsheng now, you can divorce him. Divorce? He Shuiyun looked at Zhou Hao. No. You know what? My father decided to marry me. No one in the family had ever dared to oppose my father's decision. He won't let me divorce Su Jinsheng. Zhou Hao frowned when he heard that. Even if he's your father, he doesn't have the right to control your freedom. This is a civilized society, not a feudal society like in the past. You have your own personal freedom. Whether you want a divorce or not is your own business. Even your father has no right to interfere. You don't understand. At home, father's words are an imperial edict, He Shuiyun muttered. Zhou Hao had also heard of He Hongxin. He was a legendary figure. His life was full of twists and turns. In the past, he had defeated all his opponents and won the gambling game issued by the female Tu government. After many years of development, he had completely monopolized the gambling industry in Macau. He was known as Gambling King. Nearly half of the tax revenue in Macau was supported by him. Until today, He Hongxin's net worth had already exceeded 100 billion Hong Kong dollars. At the same time, He Hongxin was also a romantic figure. After implementing the monogamy system in Hong Kong and Macau, he still had 4 wives and many undisclosed lovers. Furthermore, after he entered old age, his fertility was still very strong. In 2,000 years, when he was 78 years old, he even gave birth to a daughter with his 4th aunt. He Shuiyun said dejectedly, my mother passed away when I was 12 years old. She loves me very much, but I will never see her again. Sparkling tears flowed out of her eyes. I miss her so much. I miss my mother so much. Looking at He Shuiyun's shoulders shrugging, Zhou Hao also sighed. The dead are already gone. Miss He, your condolences. In many people's eyes, He Shuiyun was the proud daughter of heaven. She was born in a rich family and married into a famous rich family. She enjoyed all the wealth in her life. But who knew that she was actually a woman with a miserable fate? Since ancient times, there were many beautiful women with thin lives. This sentence was very well expressed in He Shuiyun. He Shuiyun lived a bitter life of being in front of others and being in front of others. While she was drunk, He Shuiyun told Zhou Hao a lot about her life. She told him about her suffering in life, saying that she opened the Butterfly Love Flower shop to wear downtime, and also said a lot about other things. Zhou Hao just sat there and listened quietly. He was her most loyal listener. In the end, He Shuiyun could not resist the drunkenness. She lowered her head and fell asleep on the coffee table. Seeing that she fell asleep, Zhou Hao sighed. He felt a little depressed in his heart because He Shuiyun had fallen asleep just like that. How should he settle her? If he brought her back to the Su family, but she was the young mistress of the Su family, and she was brought back by a stranger in the middle of the night after getting drunk, it would not do Zhou Hao or her any good. She was afraid that her life in the Su family would be even worse. If she was brought directly to the room of the Peninsula Hotel, Zhou Hao would not be able to leave her alone there. However, if she did not leave, she would spend the night alone in the room. When He Shuiyun woke up, it would be hard for Zhou Hao to explain. After much consideration, Zhou Hao decided to bring He Shuiyun back to his home. Anyway, there was still Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin at home, so he could avoid arousing suspicion. Therefore, Zhou Hao called the people from the coffee shop over to settle the bill. It was still the waiter from earlier. In order to not leave any traces and complicate things, Zhou Hao did not use his credit card or bank card. Instead, he used cash to settle the bill. The waiter saw He Shuiyun lying there drunk, and Zhou Hao was in a hurry to pay the bill. He was sure that Zhou Hao wanted to take advantage of this beautiful and charming girl's drunkenness to kiss her. He looked at Zhou Hao with envy and disdain. He was envious of Zhou Hao being able to have a good time with such a beautiful woman. He disdained that Zhou Hao took advantage of others and was not a gentleman. Zhou Hao could guess what the waiter was thinking when he saw the look in the waiter's eyes. However, he did not explain, because the more he explained, the more complicated it would get. In the end, it would only get worse and worse, so he did not say anything. He just asked the waiter to pay the bill as soon as possible. Then, Zhou Hao helped up the delirious He Shuyan. Even though he didn't have any improper thoughts in his heart, He Shuyan's delicate and graceful body was leaning against his chest, especially the fragrance of her body that was becoming more and more alluring after drinking. It made people's imagination run wild and made Zhou Hao's heart tremble. Su Jinxing should have had feelings for He Shuyan back then. It should be because he could not be a man in front of He Shuyan. Over time, he changed from love to hate, so he used the way of drinking wine to vent his feelings. Zhou Hao thought in his heart, such a woman. Anyone who saw her would be moved. Su Jinsheng could see, but could not touch her. It could be seen how deeply he felt inferior in his heart. Zhou Hao sighed. Su Jinsheng could be considered as the lucky one in the heavens, but he was a useless playboy. When he met He Shuyan, who was more outstanding than him in every aspect, he felt extremely inferior in his heart. It was a pity. He helped He Shuyan out of the room and left the coffee shop. Then, he walked into the elevator. Hello, Jinsheng. Wasn't that sister-in-law just now? In the distance, two men happened to come up from the stairs and were about to walk towards the coffee shop. They just happened to see Zhou Hao supporting He Shuyan as they both walked into the elevator. One of them was Su Jinsheng, who came out of his house. The young man beside Su Jinsheng was also someone Zhou Hao knew, Lu Wanhong's son, Lu Mingwei. It turned out that these two were friends who had known each other for a long time, and they would often spend some time together. Both of them were born in rich families, and apart from having fun together, they also talked about business. They had a very good relationship with each other. However, unlike Su Jinsheng, who only knew how to enjoy himself, Lu Mingwei was a capable person. After Su Jinsheng left the house, he asked Lu Mingwei out and planned to call a few female artiste models over to have sex as usual. The two of them called 4 female artistes and models to have fun in the room above. They wanted to come down to this coffee shop and drink something to relieve their boredom. Unexpectedly, just as they came down, they saw Zhou Hao holding He Shuyan and walking into the elevator over there. Lu Mingwei also knew He Shuyan, so he recognized her at a glance. As for Zhou Hao, Wang Shijuan, whom Lu Mingwei loved, was loyal to Zhou Hao. Lu Mingwei naturally recognized him even if he turned into ashes. Su Jinsheng froze on the spot, as if he had turned into a statue in an instant. There was a look of disbelief on his face. He knew that although He Shuyan did not have any feelings for him, she was a woman who adhered to the principles of a wife. For so many years, Mrs. Su's identity had never been exposed to any scandal. She was a well-known, elegant socialite in the hearts of the Hong Kong citizens. On the contrary, he was often caught by paparazzi when he was looking for girls. It also made many citizens feel injustice for He Shuyan. But now, as his wife, He Shuyan was snuggling in the arms of another man. Furthermore, that man was Zhou Hao, whom he hated the most. It was as if a volcano had suddenly emerged within Su Jinsheng's body, and it was brewing, waiting for it to erupt. Jinsheng, I say, Zhou Hao and sister-in-law wouldn't go up and open it, right? Lu Mingwei also found it hard to believe that He Shuyan would do something like that. In particular, he often went with Su Jinsheng to flirt with girls. He did not know that Su Jinsheng and He Shuyan did not have any actual relationship between husband and wife. Su Jinsheng clenched his fists and made a sound of he. At the same time, he gritted his teeth and said, I, Su Jinsheng, have always been the one playing with other people's women. No one has ever dared to touch my woman. Even though he had no feelings for He Shuyan and had no actual relationship with her, He Shuyan was his legal wife. This green hat covered his entire body. Veins popped out on his forehead. Su Jinsheng wanted to rush forward to chase after Zhou Hao and He Shuyan, but was stopped by Lu Mingwei, who was beside him. Are you stupid? Didn't you say that Zhou Hao could beat 5 armed bandits with his bare hands? Aren't you courting death by going there like this? What do you want me to do? Just like that? Su Jinsheng said angrily. This F***ck green hat covered me from head to toe, and you still don't want me to find those 2 adulterers? Fortunately, it was already past 4 o'clock in the morning. There was no one around, but the 2 servers in the coffee shop could not help but look over curiously. Lu Mingwei was afraid that he would attract other people's attention. If this matter got out of hand, he would not be able to clean it up. He quickly pulled Su Jinsheng back and said, Calm down, think about it. That Zhou Hao knows martial arts. Not to mention you, even if there are 10 of you and 10 of me, I'm afraid I will become someone else's punching bag. Besides, if this matter were to spread out, it would be a loss for them. Isn't it still you? Don't tell me you want everyone in Hong Kong to know that Zhou Hao cheated on you? Su Jinxing also felt that what Lu Mingwei said made sense. If Zhou Hao could beat down all 5 bandits with guns, he would be in serious trouble if he went up just like that. However, he still gritted his teeth with hatred. Because he could not be a man in front of He Shuiyun, He Shuiyun had been married to him for so long, but he had never touched He Shuiyun. And now, his beautiful wife was going to fall into Zhou Hao's mouth. As the saying went, the hatred of snatching a wife was greater than the hatred of killing a father. Although Su Jinxing had never gotten He Shuiyun, the hatred that Zhou Hao brought him this time was even deeper than the hatred of killing his father. Lu Mingwei also advised at this time, let's go back and think about how to deal with Zhou Hao first. Impulse is a devil. In fact, Lu Mingwei also thought He Shuiyun was a rare beauty, especially since she was not the kind of vase that only had appearances. Wang Shijuan's loyalty to Zhou Hao also made Lu Mingwei very jealous and hateful. Now that he saw that he had another beauty, he could not bear to look at her even more. Furthermore, although Su Jinsheng was not a close friend with him, he could still be considered a good friend of wine and meat. Therefore, this time, Lu Mingwei would definitely not stand idly by. The two of them returned to the luxury suite upstairs. When the 4 female artiste models saw the two of them return, they immediately flocked over to please them. However, although these female artiste models only wore underwear and looked very seductive, Su Jinxing did not have the mood to do so. Seeing them surround him, he felt annoyed and immediately said angrily, "Get out of my way." When the female models saw Su Jinxing suddenly lose so much temper, they were also very confused. However, Su Jinxing was their sponsor, so no matter how aggrieved they were, they had to go and greet him. So not only did they not retreat, they even wanted to come over and act spoiled with Su Jinxing. However, Lu Mingwei waved at them. "You guys go back first. Young Master Su is not in a good mood. Go back. I'll look for you guys in a few days." He took out a credit card and handed it to the model in the lead. "There are 200,000 yuan here. You guys can divide it among yourselves. All right, all of you can go back now. Go back." Since Lu Mingwei had given them the money and did not need to wait on the temperamental Su Jinxing anymore, these women were naturally happy to leave. Seeing that Su Jinxing and Lu Mingwei were so secretive, they secretly wondered if they were going to do the gay thing. After the female artistes and models left, Su Jinxing thought about how Zhou Hao and his wife might also be in a room in the Peninsula Hotel, going to mount witchcraft together. He was extremely irritated. He punched and kicked at the surrounding furniture, shattering the vases, crystal sculptures, and other stuff on the ground, turning it into a mess. "That be asterisk starred Zhou Hao. He never got along with me," Su Jinxing said angrily. "Last time, he almost caused me to not be able to come back from the sea. This time, unexpectedly this time, F************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************************* chest heaved up and down violently, and that be asterisk T he Shuayun. I must teach her a good lesson. Jinsheng, don't be impulsive. Lu Mingwei said, sister-in-law is a member of He family. If you really do anything to her, that old be asterisk starred He Hong Sin will not let you go. Also, didn't you say that your dad won't let you get a divorce? That's right. If you want to deal with sister-in-law, Zhou Hao will definitely be wary of you. At that time, it will be much harder for us to deal with him. Then what do you want me to do? If they treat me like this, do you want me to swallow my anger? Lu Mingwei said, not only do you need to swallow your anger, you also need to pretend as if nothing had happened. Seeing that Su Jinsheng was about to get angry again, Lu Mingwei said, if you can't deal with Zhou Hao because you can't control your anger, then don't blame me. It was all your fault. Su Jinsheng took a deep breath. After a long time, he finally calmed down. What do you think we should do? Actually, I know. Jinsheng, do you think I don't have any conflicts with that Zhou Hao? I don't need to help you deal with him. Lu Mingwei said at this time, I won't hide it from you. In fact, not only did that Zhou Hao steal your wife, even the girl that I finally fell in love with was loyal to him. Su Jinsheng was very surprised when he heard this, because he had never heard Lu Mingwei talk about this before. It had always been him who took the initiative to speak ill of Zhou Hao, but he did not expect Lu Mingwei to have a conflict with Zhou Hao. You know about Zhou Hao's live broadcast of him singing Love Me, Don't Go in Hong Kong, right? Lu Mingwei said to Su Jinsheng, actually, I happened to meet the girl he wanted to keep. I didn't know she was Zhou Hao's woman. You could have guessed what happened later even if I didn't tell you. That damn Zhou Hao's trick was really beautiful. Any girl who sees that live broadcast will be tempted. Seeing Lu Mingwei's unwilling expression, Su Jinsheng patted his shoulder in understanding. When he saw the video of Love Me Don't Go at that time, although he hated Zhou Hao in his heart, he couldn't help but admire Zhou Hao's move. If he knew how to play the piano and write songs, then he was afraid that even without the support of his family background, there would still be a lot of girls throwing themselves into his arms. Lu Mingwei heavily punched the wall. Damn it. I have played with many women, but I have never tried to be sincere to a girl. That time. Humph. If I knew her first, Zhou Hao would not be able to beat me. Damn it. That girl knew that Zhou Hao had another woman, but she was still willing to stay by his side. This B***star Zhou Hao really knows how to treat women. Su Jinxing deeply agreed. They had been husband and wife for more than 5 years. Although they did not have a real name, Su Jinxing also knew that He Shuiyan was a woman who looked soft and aloof on the outside, but was also proud and aloof on the inside. In his heart, he often wondered what kind of man could make her truly fall in love with him, but he did not expect that she would fall into Zhou Hao's hands. It could be seen how excellent Zhou Hao's way of dealing with women was. By the way, what do you think? Zhou Hao asked. Lu Mingwei looked at Su Jinxing. If that is the case, it will be troublesome. If Hong Kong hadn't returned yet, things would be easier. But now that Hong Kong has returned, even those gangs have pledged their loyalty to the central government. Although we know that he is the godson of the regulatory committee, we still don't know what he did when he came to Hong Kong. As the saying goes, know yourself and know your enemy, and you can win 100 battles. I think we need to investigate his background. Su Jinxing deeply agreed, and Lu Mingwei said, and if your dad knew that we were going to deal with Zhou Hao, he would stop us because he didn't want to offend the regulatory committee. If my dad found out about his identity, he would probably stop me as well. So you can't tell your dad about this, and I won't let my dad know either. We can only do it secretly. Lu Mingwei rubbed his chin and pondered for a while. Then he said to Su Jin, that's all for now. Let's go and find out what Zhou Hao is doing in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is our territory, so it's easier to deal with him. Also, when you go back and face your sister-in-law, you must not reveal any clues. You must pretend that nothing happened. Do you understand? Su Jinxing nodded heavily. The two of them discussed some more details, and then went to the bar of the Peninsula Hotel to drink to relieve their boredom. On the other side, Zhou Hao obviously did not bring He Shuiyan to get a room as Su Jinxing and the others had imagined. Instead, he brought the drunk He Shuiyan back to his villa on the mountain and gave Su Lin a call in advance. After coming back, Su Lin was already waiting for her in the living room. Seeing Zhou Hao holding He Shuiyan, who was drunk and did not wake up, Su Lin could not help but say, where did you go to flirt again? You even brought a woman home. Don't speak nonsense. Zhou Hao smiled bitterly and said, I am not that bad, but she is a married woman. If there is a rumor, it will not be good. At the same time, he told Su Lin about He Shuiyan's experience. When Su Lin heard about He Shuiyan's matter, she also felt very sympathetic in her heart. The person she entrusted to was not a good person. It would indeed delay her life. When she thought about herself again, although Zhou Hao did not only have her as his woman, he also had genuine feelings for her. Compared to He Shuiyan's situation, it was much better. She helped Zhou Hao to help He Shuiyan to a guest room on the second floor. Zhou Hao said, let her spend the night here. You still have to go to Asia Television Limited at dawn. Go back and rest first. Then he left the guest room with Su Lin. He also returned to his room because Liang Xiaobing was still sleeping on his bed. Zhou Hao did not expect that his good intentions would be completely misunderstood by Su Jinxing and Lu Mingwei. He would even be regarded as Su Jinxing's greatest enemy in his life, and that they would be irreconcilable. If Zhou Hao knew about this, he wouldn't know whether he should cry or laugh. This was the first time He Shuiyan was drunk. She was not good at drinking, so she drank a few glasses of red wine and got drunk. It was only at noon that He Shuiyan vaguely woke up. Her head still hurt very badly. She sat up from the bed and gently patted her forehead to relieve the pain. Then, she looked at the sunlight that shone in through the window. However, when she looked at it, she noticed something strange. Then, she suddenly sized up her surroundings, because she realized that this place didn't seem to be her room. Suddenly, a sense of unease and fear crept into her heart. She frowned deeply and tried her best to recall what had happened last night. She still remembered that late at night, Su Jinxing came back drunk and had a big fight with her. After that, she was so depressed that she wanted to go out and have a drink. She also wanted to find someone to talk to, but she didn't know who to look for. After that, she didn't know why she called Zhou Hao. He Shuiyan remembered that she and Zhou Hao went to the coffee shop at the Peninsula Hotel to drink. She only remembered that after she drank the third glass of red wine, her consciousness became fuzzy. She could not remember what happened after that. She could not remember what she did or said. Looking at her surroundings again, He Shuiyan thought that it should be Zhou Hao who brought her here after she was drunk. Then, Her expression changed and she hurriedly lifted the blanket to look at her body. When she saw that her clothes were neat and tidy, she felt slightly relieved. At the same time, she laughed self-deprecatingly because she was still pure. If she really lost her body, she would definitely feel it. But now, it seemed that her lower body did not feel any discomfort. Her face was slightly red. On one hand, it was because of shyness. On the other hand, it was because she suspected Zhou Hao and felt very ashamed. Thinking of Zhou Hao, He Shuiyan's thoughts rippled slightly. As a member of a wealthy family, she naturally knew that as a woman, she should not casually meet a stranger man, let alone drinking late at night. However, at that time, she had nowhere to complain about the depression in her heart. She did not know why, but she found Zhou Hao. Because Zhou Hao saved her at the bank, it gave her a sense of security. Zhou Hao did not let her down. He did not do anything bad while she was drunk. He Shuiyun's face turned red when she thought about whether she had lost her composure while she was drunk. At this moment, there was a knock on the door of the room. He Shuiyun thought that it was Zhou Hao, so she hurriedly stroked her messy hair and walked down from the bed. It was only because of the hangover that her footsteps were a little unsteady. "Please come in," she said gently, and only then did she realize that her throat was a little dry. It must be because she drank wine. The door was pushed open, and the person who came in was not Zhou Hao. Instead, it was a beautiful woman in a suit and pants. It was Su Lin. She was holding a bowl of hot tea in her hand. "Hello." Seeing that the person who entered was not Zhou Hao, He Shuyan was slightly stunned but still very politely greeted Su Lin and asked, "May I ask who you are?" Su Lin smiled. "Hello, Miss He. My name is Su Lin. I am Zhou Hao's friend. He was the one who brought you back last night." This is Miss Su's home?" He Shuyan thought this was Zhou Hao's home. Seeing He Shuyan's expression, Su Lin knew what she was thinking and shook her head. "This is Zhou Hao's home. But I also live here." When she said this, she felt a little embarrassed in her heart. After all, she was indeed living with Zhou Hao now. "Oh, so you are Zhou Hao's girlfriend? You were the one he picked up at the airport last time, right?" He Shuiyun smiled. "That." Su Lin was a little conflicted in her heart. After hesitating for a while, she said, "Actually, that is not me. It is another person. She also lives here. But this morning, she has gone out with Zhou Hao." Su Lin saying this was equivalent to telling He Shuiyan that Zhou Hao had more than one woman. Actually, she also did it on purpose. Because, even though she knew He Shuiyun was a married woman, she also knew that Zhou Hao's lethality towards women was too great. At that time, even though she knew that Zhou Hao was Li Ruolin's man, she could not help but fall into his trap. So she was afraid that something would really happen between him and He Shuiyan. After all, He Shuiyun's identity was there, and the Su and Su families were very powerful. She was afraid that it would be detrimental to Zhou Hao. He Shuiyun was also an intelligent person. With a thought, she guessed Su Lin's thoughts. After some embarrassment, she was even more surprised that this rare beauty seemed to work with another woman, Zhou Hao. In fact, her father, He Hongxian, had a few wives. However, there was only one legal wife. The rest were all invited by He Hongxian to the public and invited guests when they were getting married. This was to tell his relatives, friends, and friends that they were his wives. Therefore, compared to ordinary people, He Shuiyan was more open-minded about these things. At this time, Su Lin handed over the bowl of hot tea. "Miss He, drink it. This is the anti-alcoholic tea." He Shuiyan quickly took it over. "Thank you. Is this made for me by you?" "Thank you." Su Lin smiled and said, "Haha, I didn't cook this. It was Zhou Hao who made it this morning before he went out. He told me to heat it up for you to drink when you wake up." He Shuiyun was stunned. She suddenly felt that the hangover tea in her hand had reached her heart. At this moment, she suddenly understood why Su Lin was willing to work with another woman, Zhou Hao. Compared to the kind of emperor like his father, Zhou Hao's body seemed to be much more gentle. Moreover, he was not just gentle. At the critical moment, he could stand up and block all dangers for the people around him, just like in the bank. After drinking a mouthful of warm anti-alcoholic tea, He Shuiyan suddenly felt her mind clear and her entire body was warm. She did not try to drink the anti-alcoholic tea, but she also knew that the bowl of anti-alcoholic tea Zhou Hao made for her was not ordinary, so her heart felt even more warm. At this moment, a phone ringtone came from the bag she had placed beside the bed, and He Shuiyan quickly picked it up. "Miss He? Hello, I am Zhou Hao. You must have woken up." Zhou Hao's voice came from the phone. "Yes, thank you for the tea," He Shuiyan said gratefully. "Sorry about last night. I lost my composure." Zhou Hao smiled. No, I should be the one apologizing. I didn't ask you before I brought you back, because I was afraid that the people of Su family would misunderstand if I sent you back to the Su family, and if I sent you to a hotel, I wouldn't be at ease to leave. So I took the liberty of bringing you back. Please forgive me. He Shuyan only knew that Zhou was thoughtful when she heard that. If he really sent her back to Su family, it would be very difficult for her to explain. If it was spread to the He family, it would be even more embarrassing. When she thought about it, she felt that Zhou was really a meticulous man. Miss He, if you feel tired, you can rest at my place. After that, let Su Lin send you back. I still have something to do, so I won't disturb you. Zhou said. He Shuiyun nodded. Okay, thank you. After hanging up the phone, He Shuiyun chatted with Su Lin for a while, but they were all talking about Zhou. Previously, He Shuiyun knew from Su Jiaming that Zhou was Zhao Rixin's godson, but other than that, she did not know anything else. Su Lin did not tell her the details of Zhou, but only said that Zhou came to Hong Kong to do business. After that, Su Lin sent He Shuyan back to Su family. At this time, Zhou was with Liang Xiaobing in the record company he bought from Xiang Huaqiang. Xiang Huaqiang's record company was originally called Tonghui Music Company Limited, although this record company was not as famous and powerful as the old record companies such as Globe and Sony. It had sufficient talent and equipment. After all, Xian Yan had been in the Hong Kong entertainment industry for decades, and the resources he had could not be underestimated. In order to win Zhou over, Xiang Huaqiang had continuously poured talent and equipment into Donghui. Therefore, after Zhou took over, he could directly put in production. However, after Zhou took over Donghui, he changed his name to Sea King Records Limited. The trademark was a trident that looked like a crown. It was the weapon of the Sea King Poseidon, and also the symbol of planet Sea King. This Sea King Records Limited was also a subsidiary company under North Pole Star. At this time, Liang Xiaobing was in a well-equipped recording room, wearing headphones and singing softly to the microphone. She opened the notebook that she always carried with her. It said that many things were about you. You hate being left out. You are used to being waited. Only when you're lonely will you come to me. I saw the feelings I wrote down. I put myself behind my humble self, waiting for you for too long. I thought you would cry. And what is happiness and happiness? Love hurts. It hurts so much that it cries. I'm tired from crying. The page in the diary was persistent. It records your good, like an addictive poison. It keeps lying to me. Love hurts. It was so painful that it cried. I'm tired from crying. He always forced himself to be contradictory. I urge myself to let go. He closed his eyes and let you go. Burn the diary and start over. This was the song Chronicles written by the Taiwanese singer Zhou Chuanxiong for Chan Hui Lin. However, it had yet to appear. Therefore, Zhou followed the principle of coming and going and bluntly accepted it for his own use. He remembered that this records was very popular. It had even occupied the top spot in the domestic music rankings for a long time, and it had been widely circulated. Liang Xiaobing was indeed very talented in singing, and her voice was also better than Hui Lin's. Even though she had not received formal training, it was still very pleasing to the ears. Zhou was standing on the control panel outside the recording room. Through the big glass window in front of him, he could clearly see Liang Xiaobing's situation inside. Liang Xiaobing was also singing and looking at Zhou, occasionally showing her a warm smile. This was the first time she entered the recording studio. In the past, when she was on the wireless, she had seen a recording studio specially used for dubbing, but she had never come in as a singer like today. When she had just arrived and started singing, Liang Xiaobing was still very nervous. It was all thanks to Zhou by her side and constantly encouraging her that she gradually got rid of her nervousness. Since Zhou had learned piano in college, it was very easy for him to write a complete score. He used 15 minutes to write the score of Records and handed it to the Sea Kings concert group to quickly record the accompaniment. Then, he personally sang the records once in the recording room and taught Liang Xiaobing a few times. The melody of Chronicles was beautiful and distinct. Soon, it would be able to speak aloud. As for those recording artists who had worked in this industry for more than 10 years, they had seen many idols and celebrities who had the potential to become singers. They all felt that Zhou really had the potential to become a singer. In particular, he had an outstanding appearance and temperament. He was a singer who was a combination of the real idols and the real forces. If this continued, it would not be difficult for him to become a superstar like Liu Dehua or Zhang Guorong. Zhou looked at Liang Xiaobing in the recording studio. At the same time, he said to the recording studio that was controlling the control panel, "What do you think of her potential? Is there any hope of becoming a singer?" One was wearing a black t-shirt. Although I haven't formally learned from those teachers, I think Miss Liang is very talented. Mr. Zhou, your chronicles is very outstanding. It will definitely not be a problem to promote Miss Liang. He didn't say this just to please Zhou Hao, because Liang Xiaobing's talent in singing was obvious to all. As long as he hired some teachers to teach her qi training and some singing skills, she would be able to take up the role of a singer. But the recording studio, which was dressed up in a new fashion, said again, "But I think you have more potential than Miss Liang. If you are willing, I can guarantee that you will become a superstar like Liu Dehua and Zhang Guorong in a year." The other recording studios all nodded. They felt that Zhou Hao not only had an outstanding appearance and excellent temperament, but also had a moving voice. More importantly, Zhou Hao's composing ability. Whether it was the popular song, Love Me Don't Go, or the records he wrote for Liang Xiaobing, his skills were much more profound than those famous composers in the music industry. Zhou Hao shook his head. "No, I'm not interested in being a celebrity. I don't know about the benefits of those celebrities, but I've had a taste of all the harmful aspects." These days, he had to put on a disguise before going out, especially when he passed by some shops that were currently broadcasting Love Me Don't Go. He had to leave as soon as possible. When they heard Zhou Hao's words, the musicians were all very disappointed. They were disappointed that the music industry had lost a superstar. "By the way, let Xiaobing sing the song Love Me Don't Go too," Zhou Hao said. He remembered that in his previous life, there were some female singers who sang Love Me Don't Go, and the effects were not bad. Now, this Love Me Don't Go, which he wrote, had not been officially released yet. The outside was only playing Zhou Hao's recording from before. The musician from before said again, "Mr. Zhou, letting Miss Liang sing a female version of Love Me Don't Go was also very good. But I think, should we release the original male version of Love Me Don't Go? After all, after the singing, the people now think that your voice is the original version of Love Me Don't Go." Zhou Hao also nodded when he heard that. This concept of first impressions was indeed very important. For example, whether it was Love Me Don't Leave or records, he believed that Zhang Jinyue and Chen Huilin were the ones who sang the original version. However, in the eyes of everyone else, he was the one who sang the original song. In the future, no matter who sang the original version, no one would be able to replace Zhou Hao. This was also the reason why Zhou Hao brazenly used the classic songs from his previous life for his own use. He was certain that the audience had the concept of prioritizing first impressions. At this time, Zhou Hao said, "You are right. How about this? I will record an official song, Love Me Don't Go." But there was no need to record an MV. Just record it like this, and then put the song into Xiaobing's album. As for my name, use Z Sovereign. This Z was the first letter that Zhou Hao spelling his name with. These recording rooms already knew that Zhou Hao did not want to be a singer, and he was the boss, so no one raised any objections. Liang Xiaobing had finished recording by this time. She immediately came in front of Zhou Hao and asked expectantly, "How is my singing?" Zhou Hao smiled and said, "Very good. I have not received formal training yet, and can already reach this level. Many singers are not as good as you." "Really?" Liang Xiaobing smiled in surprise. To her, the opinions of others were not important. She was most nervous about Zhou Hao's opinions. As long as Zhou Hao said that she was good, she would not care even if everyone rejected her. "But your song is really good. I have a feeling that this song will definitely be popular," Liang Xiaobing said to Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao lightly hugged Liang Xiaobing's waist. "Of course. This song was specially written for you. It was written with painstaking effort. How can it not be good?" Liang Xiaobing was very touched. She reached out and wiped Zhou Hao's forehead. "I know. Thank you for your hard work." The surrounding recording studio and one or two staff members looked at Liang Xiaobing and felt a little emotional in their hearts. In the entertainment industry, if one wanted to become famous, it was absolutely impossible without some background and connections. Because of this, many women who wanted to become famous did not hesitate to use their own bodies as a price. And these staff members had also seen too many female celebrities that were supported by big bosses with money. If Liang Xiaobing did not have Zhou Hao's support behind her back, she was afraid that she would not have this opportunity in her lifetime. However, they were not sure if Liang Xiaobing was with Zhou Hao because she wanted to become famous. However, Zhou Hao was different from those big-headed, big-eared, and old wealthy businessmen. Even if he was just an ordinary man without power and power, with his appearance and talent, he was definitely a hot commodity that many women wanted to compete for. Not to mention letting Zhou Hao keep a female star. Even if those rich women came to keep him, there would definitely be a market. Furthermore, in order to promote Liang Xiaobing, not only did Zhou Hao spend money, he even personally wrote songs for her. Just this one alone was enough to tempt people. In the next few days, Zhou Hao was busy producing records for Liang Xiaobing. First, He invited some very famous seniors in the music industry to teach Liang Xiaobing how to sing. Then he asked them to film an MV for her. Everything was going in an orderly manner, and Sea King Records Limited. It also revolved around Zhou Hao's star creation plan, displaying extremely high efficiency. At the same time, Zhou Hao also took some time to direct Galaxy Investments' operations in the stock market. During this period of time, Galaxy had gained a lot in Southeast Asia, especially in Indonesia's stock market. Zhou Hao had gained a lot. At this time, Zhou Hao had also invested a portion of the funds in the Southeast Asia market, as well as the 1 billion HKD that Ni Yongxiao had transferred to Zhou Hao from the alliance. A total of more than 1.2 billion Hong Kong dollars had been invested into the Korean and Japanese stock markets and exchange markets respectively. Because of the development of his previous life, South Korea would be exposed to Asian financial storms in mid-November, causing the currency exchange rate to plummet. The stock market was also on the verge of collapse, causing the Japanese companies that were investing in South Korea to close down, causing the economy of Japan, which was already in a state of depression, to become even worse. Zhou Hao wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to make a big profit in the stock market and the exchange market in Japan and South Korea. With his most conservative estimate, if he succeeded this time, the money he invested in Japan and Korea would have 3 times the profit. That was, if he invested 12 billion Hong Kong dollars, he would receive a profit of 36 billion Hong Kong dollars, which was more than 4 billion US dollars. It was already mid-September, so Zhou Hao had to control it as soon as possible. Luckily, he had gathered a large number of financial elites, including Song Jiahao. Now, the team that worked for him was still expanding. Zhou Hao just needed to make a plan based on his memory from his previous life and let his subordinates carry it out. He didn't need to do it himself. Besides, the people in Galaxy Investment were all impressed by Zhou Hao's investment ability. They felt that his foresight and accuracy was even better than Buffett or Soros, who were financial tycoons. Therefore, many employees used their money to follow Zhou Hao's footsteps and invest. They had gained a lot. When Zhou Hao was busy calculating the stock market, he was also being plotted against by others. On this day, Lu Mingwei and Su Jinxing agreed to go to the suite they had booked in the Peninsula Hotel for a long time. The moment they met, Su Jinxing asked Lu Mingwei, "Mingwei, how is it? Did you find out what that B***** came to Hong Kong for?" Lu Mingwei did not answer this question first. Instead, he asked Su Jinxing, "What about you? You didn't expose anything in front of sister-in-law these days, did you?" "No." Su Jinxing showed a look of gritting his teeth again. "When I went home that day, I happened to see her come back. I asked her where she went, and she lied to me that she spent the night in a sister's house. That shameless bison. If you didn't tell me not to be impulsive, I would have found someone to kill this shameless woman," Su Jinxing said fiercely. Lu Mingwei quickly said, "Jinxing, don't be impulsive. Even if we don't talk about the matter between sister-in-law and Zhou Hao, she is a member of He family. If you really do that, even if sister-in-law is in the wrong first, He Hong Sin won't let you go." He wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, thinking that Su Jinxing was really ruthless. He even had the thought of hiring his wife to kill him. All right. I have already acted as you said and acted as if nothing happened at home," Su Jinxing said again. "I will take care of that slut He Shuian sooner or later. Tell me about the investigation of that B****starred Zhou Hao." Lu Mingwei nodded. "I have sent people to investigate these days. So Zhou Hao is the boss of the recently popular North Pole Star." Polar North Star? Su Jinxing pondered for a moment. The Polar North Star that bought over Asia Television Limited from Lin Baixin? I remember now. The new general manager of the Asia Television Limited's industry department. Oh right, it seems to be Su Lin. It is the woman by Zhou Hao's side. Last time at the sea, I saw her on Zhou Hao's boat. That's right. That Su Lin should also be his woman. Lu Mingwei could not help but sigh. Zhou Hao, I really have to admire him. None of the women around him are ordinary. My people said that not only is Su Lin beautiful, she is also very capable. She managed the Asia Television Limited's business department very well. Besides, although she is the general manager of the business department, she has passed all the important policies of the Asia Television Limited to Zhou Hao. Except for Zhou Hao, she is also the manager of the Asia Television Limited. Su Jinxing also rubbed his chin and thought, this B****starred came to Hong Kong to do business in the entertainment industry? It's not that simple, right? The entertainment industry in Hong Kong is getting worse and worse, and many companies are developing in China. Why is he still coming to Hong Kong? Actually, Polaris is also an officially registered entertainment group in China, Lu Mingwei explained. They just spent a lot of money to purchase brother Wang Zhonglei's friendship and asked him to preside over the headquarters in China. Not only that, I also found out that Zhou Hao's Northern Pole Star is also a major shareholder of the Hongdian Film and Television City. Although it's still in the draft stage, this Northern Pole Star is already a colossus in the entertainment industry. But if we're talking about making money, real estate and communications are much more profitable than entertainment companies. Why would Zhou Hao spend so much effort on entertainment? Su Jinxing still did not understand. Lu Mingwei felt a little helpless after knowing Su Jinxing's background. Jinsheng, you don't know. With the power of public opinion, it will be very beneficial to the development of any group. Back then, Lin Baixin purchased the Asia Television Limited. Apart from the competition between Xiao Yifu and the television industry, he probably also wanted his leasing group to have its own power of public opinion. I also heard that Zhou Hao plans to open another channel in the national language to face the audience in the country, and it's a satellite channel. Su Jinsheng was not a business material to begin with. In his opinion, those wealthy businessmen entering the entertainment industry was just to make it easier for him to keep the female celebrity as his mistress, so he did not understand the power of public opinion at all. Lu Mingwei saw his expression and did not expect him to understand. He said, "Actually, you don't have to worry about other things. Since Zhou Hao wants to set up a television station, even if we don't drag down the Asia Television Limited, we still have to make things difficult for him." Hearing Lu Mingwei's words, Su Jinsheng deeply agreed. That's right. We can't let him be so happy. But Mingwei, what good ideas do you have? You have to make him feel extremely stressed. Lu Mingwei nodded. My people found out that Asia Television Limited is planning to set up an electric game program. It seems to be called Millionaire. However, they are still in the midst of preparing. It looks like it will only be broadcasted 1 or 2 months later. He narrowed his eyes and sneered. I heard that the new higher-ups of the Asia Television Limited promoted by Zhou Hao are very optimistic about this program. They want to use this program to fight a tough battle with the wireless. We can't let them do as they wish, Su Jinxing quickly said. Of course. Lu Mingwei said to him, that's why I sent someone to find out the production process of this program. After that, I handed it over to wireless. I think that since there were so many people recruited by Asia Television Limited before this, they should be very interested in making Asia Television Limited look bad. In this way, Zhou Hao also thought that Xiao Yifu was dealing with him. He never thought that it would be us. We just need to watch a good show from behind. After listening to Lu Mingwei's idea, Su Jinsheng repeatedly agreed. That's right. That's it. Mingwei, your idea is too good. This way, Zhou Hao won't be able to tell that it was us who did this. Lu Mingwei smiled and nodded. Oh right, I also found out that Zhou Hao seems to have opened an investment company in Hong Kong. It seems to be called Galaxy. However, I only know the address of his investment company, but I don't know what kind of investment business they are in. That company is very secretive. He touched his chin and said, Zhou Hao protected this investment company so closely. Then this company must be very important to him. I have to investigate further. At the same time, Zhou Hao and Liang Xiaobing were in the recording room of Sea King. Su Lin was also there. After a period of studying, Liang Xiaobing's singing skills had improved a lot. Even the singing teachers praised her talent, so Zhou Hao let her record the album. Her main song was naturally The Chronicles and Love Me Don't Go. Furthermore, Zhou Hao had also recorded 2 versions of Love Me Don't Go. One was a piano concerto, and the other was the original guitar concerto. The style was different, but they were also very pleasant to listen to. Other than that, Su Lin also let Liang Xiaobing's teachers teach her for a week, increasing her singing ability, because Zhou Hao had also written a song for her. It was sung together with Liang Xiaobing. The name was Toniglet Liberty. The Mandarin name was I Feel Like I'm Very Close to You Tonight. This English song was sung by Sun Yanzi and the Japanese singer, Song Mui, in Zhou Hao's previous life. It was also a song that Zhou Hao liked very much. Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing were both very good at English, and Su Lin's voice was also very clear and melodious. So her temporary guest list was not a problem. Therefore, Liang Xiaobing's first personal album was actually the same as Zhou Hao and Su Lin recording it with her. Zhou Hao was also at the control panel outside. Liang Xiaobing and Su Lin, who were listening to the chorus in the recording room, nodded approvingly from time to time. Even though Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing were not skilled singers, their voices were very pleasant to listen to. The songs that Zhou Hao took out were all classic songs. As long as they were added to the later parts of the song, it would not be a problem to promote it to the market. At this time, the Li family tree, who was the director of Asia Television Limited's drama production department, suddenly came to the Sea King. Seeing the perfect equipment of Sea King, He could not help but sigh to Zhou Hao, "Boss, this place is very good. I think the equipment here is not any worse than the ones in the Globe and Sony." Zhou Hao smiled, but he knew that the Li family tree would not come here for no reason. So he smiled and said, "Why didn't you work at the television station? Why did you come here to look for me?" The Li family tree said with a serious expression, "There's something I want to tell you." Then he looked at the recorder and staff in the recording room. Zhou Hao knew this was definitely not a small matter, so he made a gesture to Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing, who were still recording in the recording room, indicating that he wanted to go out and have a talk with Tree of Li family. Seeing the two girls nod at the same time, he followed Tree of Li family to another lounge. "What happened? Is there something wrong with the Asia Television Limited?" Zhou Hao asked the Li family tree directly. The tree nodded. Yes, there was indeed a problem. Someone was asking a few staff members who were involved in the production of Millionaire, hoping to get the production process of Millionaire. Zhou Hao frowned when he heard that. This was indeed not a small matter. He had high hopes for Millionaire. Now that someone wanted to obtain the production process, it was obvious that they wanted to replicate this program and broadcast it before the Asia Television Limited. Therefore, the first thing Zhou Hao thought of was that the Wireless Television Limited was playing tricks on him. "How are the staff members?" Zhou Hao asked the tree. "They reported it to me," the tree said with a smile. "They said that Asia Television Limited had just given them extra salary. Now, someone is trying to deal with Asia Television Limited like this. If they really sold out the benefits of Asia Television Limited, the Asia Television Limited will go bankrupt, and they will be the ones at a disadvantage." Zhou Hao also smiled when he heard this. They are quite far-sighted. This is because boss gave the staff and artistes of the television station extra pay. This is good karma. Now, the artistes and employees of Asia Television Limited have a sense of belonging to the company. Li family tree sent a horse to Zhou Hao, which was neither light nor heavy, and then said, "Boss, they are still dragging that person. They want to see what you want to do, boss. Do you want to expose that person, or what?" Zhou Hao held his chin and said with a smile, "Since someone wants to know the production process of Millionaire, let them take it." In the Clearwater Bay building, Xiao Yifu was sipping tea in the house he had lived in for dozens of years. The tea leaves were very precious Longjing tea leaves, which filled the hall with a faint fragrance. However, Xiao Yifu was not as satisfied as he usually was when he tasted tea. Instead, there was a trace of worry on his face. If it was someone who was familiar with Xiao Yifu, they would be very surprised to see his expression at this moment. Because as the highest decision-maker of the Wireless Television Limited spacecraft carrier, Xiao Yifu had roamed the world of television for dozens of years. He was calm and collected when facing any opponent. He had never been afraid of any difficulties or setbacks. Fang Yihua walked over and held his back. "What's wrong? Are you still thinking about the Asia Television Limited? Forget it. Those are the people who can't be raised properly. It won't do them any good to stay on our wireless." She was talking about the matter of Li Family Tree bringing a group of artistes and staff to the Asia Television Limited. There were hundreds of artistes under the Wireless Television Limited, and adding in the staff, there were more than 1,000 employees in the television station. However, among these employees, many of them were unimportant people who could be recruited from outside at any time, such as those temporary actors who did not have a set of scenes. Although there were less than 100 people that Li Family Tree brought with him, many of them were very important to wireless celebrities and employees who had very strong working abilities. That was why they said that they had poached 1/5 of the talent resources from wireless. Xiao Yifu lifted his skinny hand and said in an old voice, "I'm not worried about this. If those artistes leave, they can still be nurtured. The production staff behind the scenes can also be recruited from outside. I can even hire a few more teachers from the art staff training class in America. However, I'm worried that after the Asia Television Limited changes hands, it won't be as easy to deal with them as before." "Even if it's not easy to deal with them, we don't need to be afraid," Fang Yihua said. "Now in Hong Kong, more than half of the people are our wireless stable audience. The Asia Television Limited has changed hands several times, and their policies have changed. They won't be able to make it." Xiao Yifu shook his head slowly. "No, this time, I have a feeling that the Asia Television Limited will become difficult to deal with. Our wireless network will also encounter an unprecedented challenge. Although the Asia Television Limited has yet to announce their plan to the public, I know that once they attack, their attacks will be as fierce as stormy waves." He looked up at the ceiling, exhaled and said, "Back then, Lin Baihong bought the Asia Television Limited and even said that he wanted to compete with me in the television industry. But I have never been afraid. That fellow Lin Baihong is very talented in other commercial fields, but if he wants to fight me in the television industry, he doesn't have that kind of strength. However, it's different this time. Although I don't know who the boss of the Polar North Pole Star is, I feel that he will be a formidable opponent that I have never encountered in my entire life. Fang Yihua was a little surprised when she heard Xiao Yifu's words. Even though Xiao Yifu was already old, his ambition had not diminished in all these years. He was a ferocious lion that no one dared to look down on. But at this moment, Fang Yihua saw that his body finally showed signs of aging. Moreover, for some reason, she thought of the young man who had come to scold Xiao Yifu. Are you thinking about that, Zhou Hao? Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua had been husband and wife for many years. One look and one could tell what she was thinking. Actually, I am also guessing. This time, the Asia Television Limited has changed owners. Could it be that the person behind this is him? Fang Yihua frowned and said, "No way. How old is he? How can he have so much money?" Xiao Yifu said, "Regardless of whether it's him or not, we must make preparations. I'm afraid that Asia Television Limited will have a fierce battle with us next." Fang Yihua nodded. At this moment, there was a knock on the door. Then, a servant's voice was heard. "Master, madam, Mr. Qian came to see you. He said he has something to discuss with you." "It should be that guy, Qian Guowei," Fang Yihua said to Xiao Yifu and turned to the servant. "Let him in." Then she saw a fat man walk into the hall from outside. He respectfully bowed to Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua. "Sixth uncle, sixth aunt." Xiao Yifu did not say anything, but Fang Yihua nodded to him. "This year's Hong Kong Miss did well. You have worked hard." This Qian Guowei was one of the gold medal supervisors of Wireless Television Limited. He was best at variety shows, such as Hong Kong's Miss, Prize-Winning Disciples, and other popular variety shows. He was the one who supervised all of them. "Guowei, what brings you here this time?" Xiao Yifu said. "Don't tell me you brought the female artiste to a dinner party and got filmed by the paparazzi." His voice was very calm, but Qian Guowei, who was opposite him, was silent like cicadas in winter. No. This time, I have something serious to discuss with sixth uncle and sixth aunt," Qian Guowei hurriedly said. Fang Yihua patted Xiao Yifu's shoulder. "You can spare him. If he didn't make those bosses so happy, our variety show wouldn't have so many sponsors." Then, she turned to Qian Guowei. All right. If you have anything to say, just say it." Yes. Qian Guowei immediately said. "It's like this. Someone gave me a proposal today. It's a program for a TV game called Millionaire." Then he briefly told Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua about the production process of Millionaire, and then gave the proposal to Fang Yihua. After Qian Guowei finished, Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua looked at each other and saw the surprise in each other's eyes, because they could see the sparkle in Millionaire. Fang Yihua hurriedly took the proposal and read it seriously. After briefly reading it, she could not help but praise, "Good. This plan is really good. If it could really be made into a program and broadcast, it would definitely cause fanaticism. Moreover, aren't there some people who keep criticizing our prize winning for being vulgar and without meaning? Once this Millionaire is broadcasted, I want to see who still dares to say that our program is vulgar." Xiao Yifu also looked up at Qian Guowei. "Guowei, who did this plan? Are you from our company?" He immediately realized that the person who could make this plan must be a rare talent. If it was an employee of his company, he would definitely be given a high position. If it was someone from outside, he would have to hire someone with a high salary. Qian Guowei looked at Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua and paid attention to their expressions. Fang Yihua, on the other hand, said impatiently, "What are you still standing there for? Tell me, who did this plan?" "This plan was not made by our company." Qian Guowei hesitated for a moment and said, "Actually, this Millionaire is a television program that Asia Television Limited is preparing closely. The person who gave me this proposal was a manager who was fired by the Asia Television Limited. He said that the Asia Television Limited is heartless to him, so he doesn't need to be loyal to the Asia Television Limited." Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua were shocked when they heard that Millionaire was a program that the Asia Television Limited was producing. They had been in the television industry for so many years, so naturally they had good eyesight. Just by looking at this proposal, they could already foresee that once Millionaire was broadcasted, it would definitely stir up a wave in Hong Kong. Xiao Yifu said with a solemn expression, "The person who took over the Asia Television Limited this time is indeed not simple to be able to produce such a program." But he looked at Qian Guowei's face. Since the Asia Television Limited is already producing this program, why would that person give us the proposal? Maybe he wants us to be prepared. Fang Yihua said, "Now that we know they are making this Millionaire, we need to think of a countermeasure. Why don't we broadcast this year's TV series when they are broadcasting Millionaire and compete with them for the TV series?" Xiao Yifu waved his hand. It's useless. I'm afraid that when the time comes, our TV series will be ruined as well. However, he heard Qian say, "Sixth uncle, sixth aunt. The person who gave me the proposal said that Asia Television Limited hasn't applied for copyright protection from any department regarding this millionaire. They probably didn't expect this proposal to be leaked, so they're not in a hurry to apply." Xiao Yifu's expression changed, and he stared at Qian Guiwei. "Are you serious? Is this news true?" "This? I can't guarantee it either," Qian Guiwei said, "but doesn't our company have a department that specializes in dealing with customs and the International Intellectual Property Protection Center? Sixth uncle and sixth aunt, can't you just let them go to customs and the International Intellectual Property Protection Center to ask about it?" "That's right," Xiao Yifu said, saying, "Yihua, let them go and ask. See if Yawu applied for the copyright patent for this millionaire." Xiao Yifu knew that the business world was like a battlefield, and there was no morality to speak of. So he decided, if the Asia Television Limited really did not apply for copyright protection for Millionaire, then he could totally take advantage of their loophole and take Millionaire for himself. Regarding this, Xiao Yifu did not have any psychological burden at all. Fang Yihua also said, "It's better if I do it myself. This matter, the fewer people who know, the better." Xiao Yifu also nodded when he heard that. After all, if the Asia Television Limited knew about this, they would immediately apply for copyright patents. At that time, the winner would be determined. This is a good opportunity to attack the Asia Television Limited, Xiao Yifu said. No matter if the person behind this is Zhou Hao or not, I will let him know that I, Xiao Yifu, am not easy to deal with. That night, Fang Yihua invited a familiar deputy director of the Hong Kong Customs Intelligence and Investigation Department out because the Hong Kong Customs Intelligence and Investigation Department was a subjective intellectual property rights department. The Wireless Television Limited was the largest production site of the television series in Mandarin. They had already started dealing with this department since a long time ago. The deputy director of the Intelligence and Investigation Department was called Huang Changhong. He was invited by Fang Yihua to a restaurant in a high-class club in the Central Circle. When he saw Fang Yihua sitting there, he smiled at her from afar and quickly walked over. "What exactly is it that requires sixth aunt to personally take care of it?" "Hee, Director Huang, you must be joking." Fang Yihua smiled and said, "Since we can still move for a few more years, let's do it ourselves." After Huang Chaohong sat down and saw Fang Yihua looking at him with a smile, he said, "Sister Hua, if you have anything to say, just say it. If I can help, can I not help? Has the pirated version of your wireless series appeared again? I will immediately get someone to deal with it for you." No, this time it's not a pirated version," Fang Yihua said. "It is just that there is something I want to ask you." "What is it?" "Sister Hua, just ask. I will definitely tell you everything," Huang Chaohong immediately said. Fang Yihua straightened her face and said, "It's like this. I want to ask you, have the Asia Television Limited applied for any copyright patents with you recently?"
Yes.
When she heard Huang Chaohong say yes, Fang Yihua's heart was lifted up. "What kind of episode is it? Or what kind of program is it? Wait a moment, let me take a look." As he spoke, Huang Chaohong took out a document from his briefcase and flipped through it. He then said to Fang Yihua, "Recently, they applied for a television series called I Have a Date with a Zombie and a documentary called Finding a Home Story. Recently, there are only these two, no more." At this moment, Fang Yihua heaved a long sigh of relief in her heart. Then, she smiled and said, "Director Huang, thank you so much." "Oh right, didn't you say earlier that your daughter was interested in the entertainment industry's development? If you have time, let her come and meet me. I'll help her arrange it, and she can take on some roles in the series. After a few more days, I'll promote her." Huang Changhong's face immediately lit up with joy as he hurriedly said, "Hee, then I really have to thank you, Sister Hua. If you need any help in the future, however, don't break the law." "Of course. I still have some matters to attend to, so I'll be leaving first." Fang Yihua smiled at him and said, "I've already paid the bill here. Director Huang, you can still go up and enjoy the sauna massage after dinner." After leaving the high-class club, Fang Yihua went to another high-class restaurant. There were also two young, beautiful, and sexy women by her side. She said to the two women, "Later, you two will properly entertain Mr. Robeson for me. As long as this matter is settled, I will let you two be female supporting roles in the next series. You can slowly sit upright." The two women were overjoyed when they heard this. It seemed like they were both artistes under the Wireless Television Limited, and they were both eager to become famous. Now that Fang Yihua, the second decision-maker of the Wireless Television Limited, had given them this promise, how could they not be happy? Therefore, They decided to do everything they could to serve that Mr. Robeson. Not long after, a tall Caucasian male with a baldy in his 40s or 50s arrived. When he saw Fang Yihua, he nodded slightly and smiled. When he saw the two beautiful girls beside her, his eyes shone with a strange light, and the smile on his face became even stronger. He walked over and sat opposite Fang Yihua. He said in broken Mandarin, "Hello, Mrs. Xiao." This was the Mr. Robeson that Fang Yihua mentioned. He was the person in charge of the Hong Kong branch of the International Intellectual Property Protection Center. Fang Yihua gave the two girls beside her a look, and they immediately took the initiative to sit beside Robeson. They coyly greeted Robeson. With the beauty by his side, Robeson was beaming with joy. His two furry hands also unceremoniously placed on the white thighs of the two girls that were exposed outside the short skirts and continued to touch the inside. "Mrs. Xiao, why did you come looking for me this time? I will definitely help you if I can." Since Fang Yihua was so tactful, Robeson, who knew that Fang Yihua needed help, also immediately expressed his attitude. "Mr. Robeson, you are too polite." Fang Yihua smiled and said, "I just want to ask you something. Did Asia Television Limited recently apply for copyright protection from your protection center?" Robeson asked curiously. "Asia Television Limited? No. Ever since they changed bosses, they have never applied for copyright protection from our protection center." "Mrs. Xiao, why are you asking about this?" "It's nothing. It's nothing. Mr. Robeson, you know that we are old rivals with the Asia Television Limited. Now that they have changed their boss, of course we want to know what they are up to." Fang Yihua said half-truths and half-truths. Robeson said with a smile, "Haha, this is not a problem. Mrs. Xiao, don't worry. If there's any news from them, I'll inform you immediately." "Thank you, Mr. Robeson." Fang Yihua smiled and said, "I still have things to do, so I will go back first." "Zishan, Ai, you two should accompany Mr. Robeson well. Mr. Robeson, I will be leaving first." "Okay, then I will not see you off." Robeson's hands were still molesting the two girls beside him. He wished Fang Yihua could leave quickly. After that, Fang Yihua rushed back to Xiao Yifu's place without stopping and called Qian Guowei and Xueqi, the other supervising producer, to come over immediately. When she went back, she saw Xiao Yifu sitting in the living room. Although the television was on, his mind was clearly not on it. Clearly, he was waiting for her to come back. Seeing Fang Yihua come back, Xiao Yifu hurriedly asked, "How is it? Did the Asia Television Limited apply for copyright protection?" Fang Yihua shook her head with a smile on her face. "No. No matter if it is the Customs or the Intellectual Property Protection Center, the Asia Television Limited did not apply. I guess they want to apply after the production is done." Hearing Fang Yihua's words, Xiao Yifu's face also revealed a look of joy. At the same time, he said, "We must keep this matter a secret. We must absolutely not let the Asia Television Limited know about it. Otherwise, it would be terrible if they broadcast it first." At this time, Qian Guowei and Xueqi had already rushed over. When Qian Guowei saw Fang Yihua, he asked anxiously, "Sixth aunt, how is it?" Perhaps Xueqi was also present. Qian Guowei did not mention the Asia Television Limited. "It's done. That proposal can be implemented." Fang Yihua did not want Xueqi to know the inside story. Xiao Yifu also looked at Qian Guowei and asked, "Guowei, if we start to produce this program now, how long will it take to produce it?" "I'm talking about the shortest amount of time." Qian Guowei thought for a moment with a solemn expression. 10 days at the fastest. This proposal has written down every procedure of the program in detail. We just need to follow it and do it. As long as we have 10 days, I guarantee that we can produce it. We don't only need speed, we also need quality. Fang Yihua said, "We can provide you with the funds, scenes, and people, but this program must be excellent and not crude." "Sixth uncle, sixth aunt, rest assured. The power of the nation will not disappoint you." Qian Guowei patted his chest and said. Fang Yihua said again, "But you have never produced such a program before, so I plan to let him help you." Then she handed the proposal for millionaire to Xueqi, who was beside Qian Guowei. "Qi, take a look at this proposal first." This Xueqi was one of the most important regulators in Wireless Television Limited. He had once transferred from Wireless Television Limited to Asia Television Limited in 191994. Later on, he couldn't bear the difficulties of the higher-ups of the Asia Television Limited. He also saw that the Asia Television Limited was no match for the Wireless Television Limited, so he decided to join the Wireless Television Limited again at the end of 1990. Xueqi became more and more surprised when he saw the proposal for Millionaire. Later on, he couldn't help but praise, "This program called Millionaire is very new. I think it will definitely attract a large audience after it is broadcasted. The person who made this proposal is a genius. Mr. and Mrs. Xiao, may I ask who made this proposal? Fang Yihua said, it is an employee of our company, but he asked us to keep it a secret for him for the time being. Furthermore, this program is of great importance. We must not let the people of Asia Television Limited know about it. So, I hope that you can keep it a secret. You can't even tell your family members, all right? Xueqi didn't think much about it. After all, many companies were very concerned about keeping it a secret, so he nodded and agreed. Also, all the staff who participated in this program must sign a confidentiality agreement to prevent them from leaking out. Xiao Yifu said, Yihua, who do you think will be the host for Millionaire? Fang Yihua said, this millionaire set focuses on interest, excitement, and knowledge. Therefore, the host must be smart, steady, and most importantly, have a sense of humor. Xueqi and Qian Guowei both nodded in agreement when they heard this. Fang Yihua also said, in this regard, I suggest that Zhang Yuling be the host. Compared to Du, Fat Sister was too funny. Wang Mingquan lacked humor. So I think it would be best to let Zhang Yuling be the host. Xiao Yifu also nodded. Du is also not bad. Then it's decided. He looked at Xueqi and Qian Guowei. From tomorrow onwards, the two of you will immediately produce this program for me. I want our TVB's Millionaire to appear in front of all Hong Kong citizens in 10 days. Zhou Hao had been busy during the past few days. He was giving orders to the Asia Television Limited, while he was busy with the Galaxy investment. At the same time, Chai Jiping and Kai Yuegong, who were in charge of Meteor Garden, were planning to go to Xiamen University to take a look in a few days. As for the paperwork, they had already completed it. There were no problems. Also, the original F4 member, Wu Jianhao, had been found by a colleague of Chai Jiping in Taiwan. In Zhou Hao's eyes, Wu Jianhao was also an outstanding person. In the original F4, he was the fastest and most powerful idol. As for the remaining Zhu Xiaotian, it was no longer important to Zhou Hao. Kai Yushuan had also found another handsome model to form a new F4 with Zhou Chongmin and the other two. In addition, because Zhou Hao had this Sea King record company under his banner, even though Meteor Garden had not been turned on yet, Chai Jiping had already asked Zhou Hao, hoping that Sea King could produce a theme song for Meteor Garden as soon as possible. This was of course no problem for Zhou Hao, and he did not need to trouble the composers of the Sea King. Zhou Hao had written the popular Meteor Shower from his previous life, and it was still sung by Yin Chengxiu and the others. At this moment, Zhou Hao and Li Family Tree were in an office on the top floor of the Asia Television Limited building. How's it going on wireless? Their Millionaire should be half done. Zhou Hao asked. The Li Family Tree nodded. More than half of it has been produced. They also chose Zhang Yuling as the host. If there are no accidents, it will be broadcast on Monday night 3 days later. He was very respectful to Zhou Hao. Logically speaking, even if Zhou Hao was his boss now, he was 30 years older than Zhou Hao and could only be very tall. Even when he faced Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua in the past, he still had some pride in his abilities. But now, he didn't have the slightest bit of impudence in front of Zhou Hao, because until now, Zhou Hao's performance was just too powerful. As long as one looked at the originally depressed Asia Television Limited now, it could be seen that everyone was in high spirits. In the past, when faced with the colossal Wireless Television Limited, the artistes and employees of the Asia Television Limited had to bear tremendous pressure. They had never thought that they could win. Therefore, the entire television station was filled with a sense of loss and frustration. But now, every artiste and employee was fighting with all their might. They gritted their teeth so hard that they wanted to fight a tough battle with the Wireless Television Limited. They were no longer as cowardly as they used to be. Furthermore, only Su Lin, the Li Family Tree, and a few others knew that Zhou Hao wanted to deal with the Wireless Television Limited. The tree who knew the inside story was also secretly shocked by Zhou Hao's means, because Zhou Hao's means this time was too ruthless. After this matter, give me a bonus of 100,000 Hong Kong dollars for each of your spies on the wireless, Zhou Hao said. The Li Family Tree nodded hastily. When he wanted to bring his men over from the wireless, Zhou Hao had asked him to keep a few of them on the wireless, so that they could be used as spies on the other side of the radio. Now, they had also played their role. At the same time, in order to prevent the wireless from using the same trick to deal with him, Zhou Hao had already conducted a secret investigation on the artistes and employees of Asia Television Limited a long time ago. Fortunately, perhaps Wireless did not think that the Asia Television Limited could defeat her, so he did not use this trick. However, Zhou Hao would not let down his guard and let Su Lin be careful of this. After discussing with the Li Family Tree, Zhou Hao said goodbye to Su Lin, who was still working in the television station, and left the television station to return to the villa in the mountain. When he returned home, Zhou Hao saw Liang Xiaobing in the living room, practicing yoga with the person on the big screen. During this period of time, Liang Xiaobing was busy making her first album. Since the people of King knew that she was Zhou Hao's person, they did not dare to treat her unfairly and let her have a good rest for the next 2 days. Liang Xiaobing tied her long hair into a simple ponytail and shook it. Behind her head, she wore a gray exercise suit similar to a swimsuit. This fitness suit was tightly attached to Liang Xiaobing's slim and graceful body, and it vividly displayed her curvy curves, especially her pair of slender and full thighs. Her white and shapely legs were very eye-catching in front of Zhou Hao's eyes. Liang Xiaobing had been practicing yoga for a long time. Her skills were not shallow. She could perform many difficult movements, and under these movements, her impressive figure became even more obvious. Looking at the tall and protruding jade peak on her chest, Zhou Hao fiercely swallowed his saliva. The desire in his body also began to stir. There were only the two of them left in the room. Even if Su Lin was here, Zhou Hao would not be afraid. Because these days, Zhou Hao had used both soft and hard methods to make the two girls serve him several times. Because of this experience, Su Lin and Liang Xiaobing gradually let Zhou Hao do as he pleased. Of course, the reason was that any one of them would find it hard to deal with Zhou Hao, who was full of desire alone. Even if the two of them went up together, they would only barely be able to fight to a draw with Zhou Hao. Liang Xiaobing also heard the noise and knew that Zhou Hao had returned. She took the opportunity to look back at Zhou Hao and said with a smile, "You are back? Where's Su Lin? Didn't she come back with you?" "She still has some work at the television station." As Zhou Hao spoke, he walked towards Liang Xiaobing and untied his shirt. At this time, Liang Xiaobing had already turned her head around, so she could not see Zhou Hao's actions. When she arrived behind Liang Xiaobing was crossing her legs and making a horse stance. She bent her upper body, and even her head was stuck to her left calf. Her 2 jade arms were also extended out and stuck to the ground. The difficulty of this stance was not small. Those who had not trained before would not be able to do it. From this, one could see that Liang Xiaobing's body was very flexible. Zhou Hao quietly sat down. He took advantage of the time when Liang Xiaobing lifted her upper body to stick close to her and wrapped his arms around her slender waist. Liang Xiaobing was slightly shocked when she was suddenly attacked. Then she smelled the familiar scent from Zhou Hao's body and said, "What are you doing?" "I am still training." "Oh my, don't touch it." On Monday night, Xiao Yifu came to the #1 factory of wireless television, limited with Fang Yihua. There was already a spacious scene here. The 270-degree ring of audience seats surrounded the host stage in the middle. There were 2 computer screens and 2 high-foot spinning chairs on the stage. Whether it was the audience stands or the host stage, they all had a very modern style, and there was even a faint sense of intellectual nature. And this was the scene of the millionaire program that the Wireless Television Limited had built up within 10 days. All the staff were busy preparing. Several cameras were aimed at the central stage. Although there were no audiences, hosts, and contestants, just looking at these staff made them nervous. Moreover, Xueqi and Qian Guowei, who were the supervisors of the program, were personally present to give instructions. Seeing all of this, Xiao Yifu secretly nodded his head. And at this time, Zheng Yuling, who was the host of Millionaire, also came to the scene. She was wearing a black professional suit. She looked exactly like those professionals, steady and generous. Seeing Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua there, Zheng Yuling quickly walked over to greet them. "Sixth uncle, sixth aunt, are you ready?" Xiao Yifu asked her. "This program is very important to the company. It can only be successful, but not fail. Do you know that?" Although Zheng Yuling had many years of hosting experience, she had never seen Xiao Yifu being so serious. She was not only nervous, but also nervous. Especially since Millionaire was not recorded in advance and broadcasted at a specific time. In order to create a bigger gimmick and attract more audience, Xiao Yifu directly turned this program into a live broadcast. Therefore, from the start of the broadcast, the host was not allowed to make mistakes. At this time, Xiao Yifu turned his head and asked Qian Guowei, "Guowei, what program is the Asia Television Limited planning to broadcast tonight?" "It's still the same dramas as before. There are no changes." Qian Guowei smiled excitedly and said, "When that new boss of Asia Television Limited sees our Millionaire, I wonder what kind of expression he will have." Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua also looked at each other and smiled. Obviously, they were also very interested in this question. It was very soon 9:30 in the evening. From 9:30 to 10:30 in the evening was the golden period of Wireless Television Limited. Xiao Yifu purposely put millionaire at this time period. Firstly, he wanted to attract more audiences. Secondly, he wanted to show off to the Asia Television Limited. Zhang Yuling had already taken the host's seat. The audience and contestants were all present. After the director counted everyone down with his fingers, a series of fast-paced music started playing. The camera also zoomed in to capture the host, Zhang Yuling. Zhang Yuling also smiled at the camera and said, "Good evening, viewers in front of the television. This is Millionaire. I'm your host, Zhang Yuling." Seeing Zhang Yuling calmly hosting the show, Xiao Yifu, Xueqi, and the others below the stage all heaved a sigh of relief. Subsequently, everything was carried out according to the plan written in the book, and the participants were allowed to go on the stage, answer the questions, use the brocade pouch, and so on and so forth. Everything was carried out in an orderly manner. In next to no time, half an hour had passed. Qian Guowei said to Xiao Yifu in an unusually excited manner, "Sixth uncle, the viewership ratings have risen very quickly. It's approaching 30 points." Xiao Yifu was very happy in his heart, but he only smiled slightly. "How's the Asia Television Limited doing?" Qian Guowei shook his head. "There is no reaction. They should be flustered." Fang Yihua smiled and said, "I think they would never have dreamed that Millionaire would be broadcast by us first." Xiao Yifu smiled and nodded, but at that moment, a staff member ran over anxiously and said to Qian Guowei, "Producer, the radio station called and told us to stop broadcasting Millionaire immediately." The staff member's words shocked everyone, including Xiao Yifu. Before Qian Guowei could say anything, Xiao Yifu walked over and grabbed the staff member's arm. He asked, "What did you say?" "The Guangguan administration asked us to stop broadcasting Millionaire? What's going on?" This Bureau of Radio and Television Administration was in charge of managing Hong Kong television and television, just like China's Bureau of Radio and Television. I'm not too sure about the details, but the Bureau of Radio and Television said that our Millionaire is infringing on our rights. Facing the highest decision-maker of the Wireless Television Limited, the staff was a little nervous, but he still told the truth. "How is this possible?" Fang Yihua was the first to shout. "How can we possibly infringed on our rights?" He had already asked Huang Xiaohong from Customs and Robeson from the International Intellectual Rights Protection Center a long time ago. Asia Television Limited had never applied for a copyright patent from them. Furthermore, Fang Yihua had also submitted a copyright patent for Millionaire to these two organizations on behalf of the Wireless Television Limited. Huang Xiaohong and the others had already accepted it. Although it would still take some time to officially approve this copyright patent, since they had accepted it, it meant that the Wireless Television Limited had already obtained the copyright for Millionaire. So now, when the Guangguan department said that the Wireless Television Limited had infringed on the rights, Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua found it unbelievable. At this moment, Qian Guowei had already received the call from the Bureau of Broad Creed Mountain and handed it over to Xiao Yifu. Xiao Yifu took the phone and said to the microphone, "I am Xiao Yifu. The people from the Guangzhou Administration Bureau originally wanted to look for the producer of Millionaire, but they did not expect to call Xiao Yifu over. Although Hong Kong had returned, Sir Xiao was still very famous in Hong Kong, and Xiao Yifu had a good relationship with the government. However, it was only a matter of time before Xiao Yifu got involved in this matter. Therefore, one of the directors from the Bureau of Guangjing immediately said, "Sir Xiao." "Hello, Sir Xiao. I am Director Tian from the Bureau of Guangjing." Even though Hong Kong had returned, and the titles of knights or peaceful gentlemen were meaningless, the director still addressed Xiao Yifu as a sign of respect. Xiao Yifu said lightly, "Director Tian, what's going on? How did our Millionaire infringed on our rights? This is our original TV program. The Customs and International Intellectual Rights Protection Center have already accepted our patent application. Explain to me properly." He was close to 100 years old and had a very high social status in Hong Kong. His tone was very arrogant. "Sir Xiao, we didn't want to do this. We just followed the law." Director Tian said, "You said that your wireless has applied for patents from the Customs and International Intellectual Property Protection Centers, but it was them who called us just now and said that you have infringed on your rights. They said that the Asia Television Limited has already applied for patents for this Millionaire. You have already infringed on the rights of the Asia Television Limited." "What?" Xiao Yifu was stunned when he heard this. "Are you sure you are mistaken? Did the Customs and Intellectual Property Protection Centers really say that?" Director Tian smiled bitterly and said, "Sir Xiao, I wouldn't dare lie to you. I think you should stop broadcasting Millionaire. This will have a huge impact." The Asia Television Limited has officially sent the documents over. They want to sue you for infringement. Sir Xiao, please stop broadcasting it. Otherwise, the situation will develop to a very serious stage. If this continues, we can only cut off the signal in your channel. Seeing Xiao Yifu's disbelieving expression, Fang Yihua, who was beside him, said anxiously, "What's wrong? What did they say?" Xiao Yifu was very rational. He quickly calmed down and did not answer Fang Yihua's question immediately. Instead, he said to Qin Guowei and Xueqi, "Stop this show immediately. Right now." Although Xueqi and Qin Guowei did not know what had happened, they immediately ordered people to stop broadcasting according to Xiao Yifu's words. At this time, Xiao Yifu also asked Fang Yihua, "Yihua, did Huang Chaohong and Robeson really tell you that Asia Television Limited did not apply for a patent for this millionaire?" "Yeah, what's wrong?" Fang Yihua still did not understand. Customs and Intellectual Property Protection Center told the SARFD that Asia Television Limited had already applied for patents for this millionaire, Xiao Yifu said with a dark face. "And now the Asia Television Limited is officially suing us for infringement. How? How could this be?" Fang Yihua also found it hard to believe. But Huang Chaohong and Robeson clearly told me that the Asia Television Limited didn't apply for it. Also, we applied for the patent for millionaire. I personally handed it over to them, and they also said that they accepted it. It's just that the official documents will only be sent to us in a few days. I'll call them and ask them now. She immediately took out her handphone and dialed Huang Chaohong's number. When the other party picked up the phone, Fang Yihua immediately shouted, "Huang Chaohong, what is going on? Are you deliberately playing with me?" When Huang Chaohong heard Fang Yihua's words, he said unhurriedly, "Sister Hua, what did you say? What are you trying to fool me with?" "I still haven't said anything. Didn't you say that Asia Television Limited didn't apply for the patent of millionaire? You even said that you accepted the patent for us." Fang Yihua said angrily. "Huh, is there such a thing? Why don't I remember?" "You, what did you say?" Huang Chaohong's words stunned Fang Yihua. "It was that day. I didn't ask you." Huang Chaohong interrupted her. "Sister Hua, I can tell you. I have never accepted any patent application that you mentioned. I also didn't tell you that Asia Television Limited didn't apply for a patent for Millionaire. Millionaire was an original program created by the Asia Television Limited. Our files clearly recorded it. Why didn't they apply for it?" "Huang Chaohong, what do you mean?" Fang Yihua was stunned. Judging from Huang Chaohong's words, it was clearly a lie when he told Fang Yihua that Asia Television Limited did not apply for a patent for Millionaire. However, what Fang Yihua did not understand was why Huang Chaohong lied to her. Fang Yihua asked herself that there was no conflict of interest between Huang Chaohong and Fang Yihua. Huang Chaohong had no reason to do so. She asked, "Qianhong, do you have any misunderstanding with me? Do you still remember? I promised to make your daughter famous." On the other side of the phone, Huang Chaohong let out a disdainful laugh. "Make my daughter famous? Sister Hua, I'm not afraid to tell you. I've never approved of my daughter entering the entertainment industry. I'm also considered half a member of the industry. Don't you understand how dirty it is? Why would I throw my daughter into a fire pit? I've already sent her to study in England so that she can give up on this idea." Fang Yihua was stunned once again. She did not think that Huang Chaohong would actually do such a thing. Now it seems that Huang Chaohong was scheming against her from the beginning. Fang Yihua's mind was sharp and immediately thought of the clues and questioned Huang Chaohong. "Huang Chaohong, did the people from the Asia Television Limited give you some benefits and made you scheme against us?" "Sister Hua, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't say whatever you want." Huang Chaohong smiled and said, "Although we are friends, your nonsense is damaging my reputation. I will still sue you for slander. All right, I still have to deal with the millionaire, so I won't talk to you anymore. You don't know, the Asia Television Limited is asking us to provide sufficient evidence and documents to help them win this infringement lawsuit." Before hanging up, Huang Chaohong smiled at Fang Yihua and said, "Sister Hua, I know you will look for Mr. Robeson from the Intellectual Property Protection Center. However, I don't think that is necessary." Fang Yihua heard this and her heart shook again. Just as she was about to ask, Huang Chaohong had already hung up. She immediately realized that Robeson might have also plotted against her like Huang Chaohong, because this time, other than customs, even the International Intellectual Property Protection Center had complained to the Guang administration. However, Fang Yihua still did not give up. She still dialed Robeson's number. However, Fang Yihua called 3 times in a row, and the other party's shutdown notification rang through the phone. This time, Robeson did not even listen to Fang Yihua's call. Fang Yihua was sure that he was the same as Huang Chaohong and had played her once. When she saw Fang Yihua's dazed look, Xiao Yifu, who was standing beside her, knew the result without asking, "How is it?" All of them refused to admit it, right? I knew there was something fishy about this. In the past, Every time we applied for copyright protection, even if they had not passed the audit, they would immediately send the proof of acceptance to us. But this time, they deliberately delayed it, obviously not wanting to give us evidence. Huang Chaohong and Robeson. I'm afraid they have already been bribed by the Asia Television Limited. Qin Guowei also realized what was going on and said in astonishment, "Sixth uncle, you're saying that the Asia Television Limited is purposely targeting us this time?" Xiao Yifu glared at Qin Guowei and said angrily, "How dare you say that? If you didn't bring back the plan, how could we have fallen into such a situation? I suspect that the original higher-ups of the Asia Television Limited were sent here by the Asia Television Limited on purpose." This time, his guess was wrong. That person was actually sent by Lu Mingwei to the Asia Television Limited to steal the plan for the millionaire and pass it to Qin Guowei. The reason was to let Xiao Yifu deal with the Asia Television Limited, so that he could use someone else to kill him. At this time, the live broadcast of Millionaire had already stopped. Although Zheng Yuling was depressed, she saw Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua were extremely angry, so she didn't dare to come over and ask. Sixth uncle, many of the audience called to complain and ask us why we suddenly stopped broadcasting Millionaire. A staff member walked over and said to Xiao Yifu. Almost at the same time, another staff member came over and said anxiously, "Sixth uncle, the Asia Television Limited sent a lawyer's letter. They want to sue us for serious infringement of our rights." Sixth uncle, the General Administration, Customs, and Intellectual Property Protection Center are here. They want us to help investigate the infringement of our rights. Another staff member came over and said. Xiao Yifu only felt a roaring sound around him, making his head dizzy. His vision went black, and he fell down. Fang Yihua, who was beside him, hurriedly supported him and anxiously shouted to the people around him, "Quickly call an ambulance." At the same time, Huang Chaohong was also on the phone with Zhou Hao. "Mr. Zhou, it has been settled. We have prepared all the documents. With the evidence from the Intellectual Property Protection Center, there is no hope for Wireless Television Limited to escape." Zhou Hao said with a smile. "Thank you, Director Huang. Don't mention it, don't mention it. Mr. Zhou is General Lu's friend and also my friend. It was just a small effort, not worth mentioning." Huang Chaohong said. "Besides, Xiao Yifu and Fang Yihua are usually arrogant and arrogant. I have long gotten used to seeing them like this." After exchanging some pleasantries with Huang Chaohong, Zhou Hao hung up the phone. He said to a man standing in front of him, "You can return those photos to Robeson, but remember to leave some details. You know what to do now." "Got it, Mr. Zhou." The man nodded respectfully, then turned around and left. Chen Shursan watched the man leave and said to Zhou Hao, "The people from the couplet are even better than the paparazzi. They can actually take pictures of Robeson fooling around with the female stars. He. If these photos are exposed, it will definitely be a huge scandal for the International Intellectual Property Protection Center. Robeson will definitely lose his reputation." Xian Jiwei twitched his mouth and said, "Otherwise, why do you think Robeson would listen to us? If we didn't catch hold of his weakness this time, based on his relationship with Wireless, he would have turned the spearhead to deal with Wireless." Li Family Tree gave Zhou Hao a thumbs up. "In the end, our boss is still the best. This time, Wireless will suffer a huge loss." Everyone agreed with him. Zhou Hao said with a smile, "Who asked Xiao Yifu to have designs on our Millionaire?" Humph. I'm still worried about how to advertise Millionaire." "Well, it's fine now. This time, Millionaire will definitely cause a sensation in Hong Kong. Moreover, we deliberately cut them off when we broadcast half of Millionaire on the radio. It's just enough to whet the audience's appetite." Su Lin asked him. "The evidence of this incident is conclusive. All the audience members who watched their Millionaire can be considered witnesses. This relationship is definitely going to lose on the radio. But Zhou Hao, how much compensation do you plan to ask from Wireless?" Zhou Hao raised 3 fingers, 300 million Hong Kong dollars, not a single cent less. When Xian Jiwei and the others heard this, they were secretly speechless. It was the Wireless Television Limited's fault for not denying the infringement of Millionaire, but this amount, Zhou Hao could be considered to be asking for an exorbitant price. Looking at the expressions of the crowd, Zhou Hao said with a smile, "Actually, I don't care if Wireless and the others will compensate so much. My goal is to make all the Hong Kong citizens pay attention to this matter, and I want Wireless Television Limited's reputation to be tarnished." Humph. I'm afraid the Wireless Television Limited has never suffered such a huge loss before. I wonder how Xiao Yifu is doing now. At this time, the phone of the Li Family Tree rang. He picked it up and heard it. He couldn't help but smile and said to Zhou Hao, "Boss, Xiao Yifu just fainted on the spot at the film set of Millionaire." Now he has been sent to Mary Hospital. Oh, he can't really do anything, Zhou Hao said to Su Lin, who was beside him. Su Lin, send someone to represent our Asia Television Limited to see him. Although we are rivals in the same industry, he is still our senior. We have to show some respect. All right, remember to tell him that we want to demand 300 million Hong Kong dollars from him. When everyone heard this, they felt helpless about Zhou Hao's evil intentions. However, Zhou Hao also felt that if something really happened to Xiao Yifu this time, it would not be good. He had once said that he would let Xiao Yifu see the Wireless Television Limited being defeated by him. Now, it was just the prelude. Zhou Hao did not want anything bad to happen to him. He was even considering whether he should go and help treat his illness. In fact, Zhou Hao had already applied for copyrights protection from the Customs, International Intellectual Rights Protection Center, and even the domestic SARFD. He had originally planned to collect copyrights fees from the TV stations in other countries if they wanted to produce this program. How could he forget to apply for a patent? Therefore, when he found out about it, after knowing that someone wanted to steal the process of Millionaire, Zhou Hao guessed that it was done by the Wireless Television Limited. So he used the same trick to give them a fatal blow when broadcasting Millionaire. As for the 300 million Hong Kong dollars claim, just as Zhou Hao had said, it was not very important. Also, Tree of Li family, get someone to secretly expose all the newspapers and magazines in Hong Kong. You must let everyone in Hong Kong know about this. Zhou Hao said to Li family tree. Got it, boss. The tree nodded and said. Zhou Hao rubbed his chin and muttered. Also, our Millionaire will be broadcasted at the golden hour when this lawsuit starts. We will let the citizens watch our lawsuits and our programs at the same time. The next day, all the newspapers and magazines in Hong Kong reported on Wi-Fi infringement on Asia Television Limited. Asia Television Limited officially filed a lawsuit against Wi-Fi in court. Last night, many viewers had watched the broadcast of Millionaire and knew that it had stopped midway, so they paid a lot of attention to it. As Wireless and Asia Television Limited were the two major television stations in Hong Kong, these two television stations were currently facing off against each other, and with the help of the Customs and the International Intellectual Rights Protection Center, they had provided evidence for the Asia Television Limited. Therefore, this lawsuit was just as Zhou Hao had expected, attracting the attention of the entire Hong Kong citizen, especially when the Asia Television Limited demanded 300 million Hong Kong dollars from Wireless. It was even more surprising to the public. Because the impact of this incident was too great, the court was soon brought up. Wireless and the Asia Television Limited each sent out a law division, and Fang Yihua also represented Wireless to the court. As for Asia Television Limited, Zhou Hao sent the Li family tree as the representative. Originally, Li family tree was one of the golden guardians of Wireless, but now it represented Asia Television Limited and Wireless against each other. It became the focus of the media and citizens. Only the Li family tree was complaining in his heart, because he knew that this was Zhou Hao's way of tying him up in the Asia Television Limited. Originally, the Li family tree had become the director of the Asia Television Limited's drama production department. He was different from those artistes. He did not sign a long contract with the Asia Television Limited, and he did not feel that much pressure even if he wanted to resign. But now, even if Li family tree did not plan to stay in Asia Television Limited, he would not be able to return to the wireless world. He had already been branded with the Asia Television Limited's brand. However, the Li family tree's desire to leave the Asia Television Limited had become stronger and stronger, because he could see that this time, the Asia Television Limited really had a chance to defeat Wireless. On the first day of the court hearing, because the Asia Television Limited provided sufficient evidence, even though Wireless's lawyer group was all elites, they knew that the chances of Wireless winning this lawsuit was not high. Although it was not as much as compensation of 300 million Hong Kong dollars to the Asia Television Limited, the loss of reputation was not something that a mere 300 million Hong Kong dollars could compare to. Xiao Yifu was still in Mary's hospital. After Fang Yihua left the court, she immediately went to the hospital to see him. How is it? How is this lawsuit going? Xiao Yifu asked Fang Yihua as soon as he opened his mouth. Fang Yihua knew that Xiao Yifu was weak and wanted to hide it from him, but Xiao Yifu was smart. They had been husband and wife for many years. So before Fang Yihua could say anything, Xiao Yifu had already guessed that Wireless was at a disadvantage. He raised his hand. You don't have to say anymore. Sigh. I also know that we have been schemed too deeply by the Asia Television Limited this time. Even if we don't have to compensate 300 million, we are afraid that our reputation will be tarnished. He looked up at the ceiling. The plan today is to minimize the impact of this matter on the company. Fang Yihua said, do you think we can discuss with the Asia Television Limited and make them reconcile with us outside the court? Xiao Yifu waved his hand. That's impossible. They did not sue us for money. Their goal was not above the 300 million. I think they want to take advantage of this opportunity to strike at our reputation. They definitely won't give up this opportunity. He let out a long sigh. We're going to lose this battle. Then, what should we do? Fang Yihua, who usually managed the huge wireless television limited, was also a little helpless at this moment. Because she had gone through court today, the evidence in the Asia Television Limited was too sufficient. Her side was completely at a disadvantage. Even the lawyer in the law division told her that unless the Asia Television Limited took the initiative to not pursue the matter, she would definitely lose this case. Xiao Yifu said, that proposal was handed over by Qin Guiwei. The way to do it now is to push all the blame onto him. Just say that we have no idea that Millionaire is a program from the Asia Television Limited. Fang Yihua frowned when she heard him. This is not good. Guiwei established a very wide customer network for our company. He was the one who pulled many sponsors back for us. If that's the case, we'll lose a lot of sponsors. That's true. Xiao Yifu pondered for a while and said, then let's push the blame onto Xueqi. Anyway, he's also the producer of Millionaire. Oh, and those directors. The company has been supporting them for so long. It's time for them to repay the company. As if she was used to Xiao Yifu's way of doing things, Fang Yihua was not surprised at all. She nodded and said, okay, I know what to do. So, after the second day of the court hearing, Fang Yihua let the wireless legal division push all the responsibility to Xueqi and the few directors, saying that the wireless had no idea about the copyright of Millionaire and had been kept in the dark. Xueqi and the others did not know that Millionaire had been stolen from the Asia Television Limited. Now that they had rashly fallen into such a situation, they were dumbfounded and at a loss for what to do. The public opinion outside was also in an uproar. Anyone with discerning eyes could tell that Millionaire was going to abandon its soldiers to protect its commander. However, their method of sacrificing their employees to protect the company was harshly criticized by the public and the citizens. However, Fang Yihua had no choice but to continue doing this. This was the only way to minimize the impact on the wireless. Later on, she even pushed Zhang Yuling out and tried to minimize the responsibility of the wireless. This action also made Xueqi, Zhang Yuling, and a few other people who had been pushed up to the stage completely cold their hearts towards the wireless. Even many celebrities and employees on the radio were deeply dissatisfied with the wireless. Especially Zhang Yuling, who had worked for wireless for more than 10 years, had actually been mercilessly sacrificed by wireless. After that, the Li family tree asked for Zhou Hao's opinion, because if the wireless did that, it was really possible to transfer part of the responsibility to Xueqi and the others. From Li family tree, who had a deep understanding of wireless, Zhou Hao knew that Xueqi was a rare talent. He had worked in Asia Television Limited before, but he couldn't stand those higher-ups making things difficult for him, so he went back to wireless. There were also a few chief and deputy directors who were all talented and capable people. Therefore, Zhou Hao instructed the Li family tree to not pursue the Li family tree and the others if wireless pushed some responsibility onto Xueqi and the others. He would directly pursue the responsibility of wireless, and he must win this lawsuit. At the same time, Zhou Hao also asked the Li family tree to throw an olive branch to Xueqi, Zhang Yuling, and the others. He wanted to take advantage of the fact that they had given up on wireless to drag them to the Asia Television Limited. Many people could see that the responsibility of this incident was not on Xueqi and the others. Therefore, when the Li family tree represented the Asia Television Limited and expressed that it would not pursue the responsibility of Xueqi and the others, it won a wave of cheers. Especially Xueqi, Zhang Yuling, and the others. They were very grateful to the Asia Television Limited. When the Li family tree asked them if they were willing to join the Asia Television Limited, they agreed without hesitation. On the night of the third day of the court session, the Asia Television Limited officially broadcasted Millionaire. This storm made all the Hong Kong citizens curious about this Millionaire that allowed Wireless and Asia Television Limited to compete for the copyright. Therefore, there was almost no need for any publicity. When Asia Television Limited broadcasted Millionaire at 9:30 p.m., the viewership had already exceeded 40 points. It was a good result that the Asia Television Limited had never achieved in all these years. The Asia Television Limited had invested sufficient funds into this Millionaire, so the hardware facilities were even better than the live broadcast of the Wireless Television Limited. The host of the Asia Television Limited was the original Chan Chi-tai. The Asia Television Limited did not broadcast live, but recorded it in advance, so the quality was very good. This time, unlike the wireless broadcast, Zhou Hao and the rest did not need to use live broadcast as gimmicks anymore. Chen Chi-tai was indeed the most suitable host for this Millionaire. His steady and humorous style was very popular. In addition, Millionaire was both interesting and exciting. The most important thing was that he gave the general public a chance to exchange knowledge for wealth. Therefore, when the first episode of Millionaire was over, the viewership was close to 50 points. Xianji Wei, Chen Shi-san, and the others backstage hugged each other excitedly. Not to mention the Asia Television Limited. Even the Wireless Television Limited had never received such a high viewership before. On one hand, it was naturally because the Millionaire set produced by the Asia Television Limited was very outstanding. On the other hand, it was also because of the copyright storm created by the Wireless and the Asia Television Limited that attracted the attention of everyone in Hong Kong. Boss, we succeeded. We did it. Chen Shi-san excitedly grabbed Zhou Hao's arms and shook them. The Asia Television Limited had won the first battle. Zhou Hao was also very happy, but he didn't seem too excited. He just looked at Su Lin and smiled. Then he smiled at Chen Shi-san and the others. All right. In order to celebrate, you and all the staff of Millionaire should go to the Peninsula Hotel to have a fun time. I'll take care of all the expenses. Yay. Long live the boss. Chen Shi-san and the others cheered again. All right, Ji Wei. Zhou Hao suddenly said to Xianji Wei, if you have time, you higher-ups can go to the hospital and do a detailed physical examination. Even if it's the benefits given to you by the company, I don't want my capable subordinates to affect the operation of the company because of health issues. In fact, Zhou Hao knew that in his previous life, Xianji Wei, an important supervisor of Asia Television Limited, died of cancer due to his nasal cancer. When he died, he was only in his 30s. It was a pity that he died young. Therefore, Zhou Hao asked Xianji Wei to do a checkup in advance. In accordance with the principle of shallow traditional Chinese medicine, he changed Xianji Wei's fate and saved his life. In order to prevent others from suspecting him, Zhou Hao asked the higher-ups of Asia Television Limited to do a checkup in the hospital. There was a statistic on the page, hoping that everyone could take a look and choose their favorite female lead. While Zhou Hao was celebrating with the higher-ups of the television station, Lu Mingwei and Su Jinxing also made an appointment to meet. However, both of their faces were terrifyingly gloomy. The two of them were drinking in a private room in a restaurant in a star hotel. No one spoke first, and the atmosphere was very depressing. When the two of them finished the third bottle of foreign wine together, Su Jinxing finally couldn't help but say, F***KU. I didn't expect Xiao Yifu to be no match for Zhou Hao, Mingwei. Now the Millionaire produced by the Asia Television Limited is known in Hong Kong. I heard that the management of the Asia Television Limited is holding a celebration banquet. Lu Mingwei narrowed his eyes, and his eyes were gloomy. I also didn't expect such a result. I originally thought that Xiao Yifu would at least let Zhou Hao suffer some losses, but I didn't expect that Xiao Yifu would suffer such a huge loss. I heard that Xiao Yifu was so angry that he was sent to the hospital. Fang Yihua was the one who came to the court to represent him. What exactly happened? Why did Xiao Yifu suffer a loss at Zhou Hao's hands? Su Jinxing said, didn't Xiao Yifu claim to be the uncrowned king in the television industry? Why did he burn his beard this time? Lu Mingwei shook his head. It's not that Xiao Yifu is not smart, but Zhou Hao is too powerful. I estimate that Zhou Hao must have used some tricks to cause Xiao Yifu to be in a tight spot. He even took advantage of the opportunity to show off in the Asia Television Limited. Lu Mingwei knew that Su Jinxing wasn't willing to accept the fact when he saw the resentment on Su Jinxing's face. In fact, it wasn't just Su Jinxing. How could Lu Mingwei be willing to accept it? Not only was he unable to deal with Zhou Hao, but he also made Zhou Hao fight continuously, allowing the Asia Television Limited to break out of the encirclement under the suppression of the wireless and obtain victory in the prelude of the war. However, Lu Mingwei was extraordinary after all. Although he was unwilling, he still said to Su Jinxing, you must not act rashly. Even an old fox like Xiao Yifu was at a disadvantage. Fortunately, Zhou Hao still doesn't know that we are behind this. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to live a good life. Even if he doesn't know how to face us, he will definitely not let this matter rest. He advised Su Jinxing. Although Zhou Hao is young, it seems like he isn't a simple character. Lu Mingwei touched his chin. It is not strange. How can he be recognized as a godson by the Political Bureau's General Committee? Lu Mingwei glanced at Su Jinxing and said, we should be more patient and wait for an opportunity. There is a saying that it is not too late for a gentleman to take revenge. Don't spoil things just because you are impulsive. Su Jinxing's expression kept changing. After a long time, he let out a long sigh. He nodded slightly to agree. In the following days, the court would decide on this copyright storm between Asia Television Limited and Wireless. As Zhou Hao and many other spectators had expected, there was no suspense in the verdict this time. With conclusive evidence, Wireless still lost in the end. According to the court's judgment, Wireless needed to publicly apologize to the Asia Television Limited for this matter and admit that Millionaire was an original program independently produced by the Asia Television Limited. Other than that, he also needed to compensate the Asia Television Limited with 7.5 million Hong Kong dollars. As for Xueqi, Zhang Yuling, and the others who were used as sacrifices by Wireless, they had nothing to do with it because the Asia Television Limited did not pursue the matter. After the verdict was out, they immediately held a press conference and announced that they would leave the Wireless Television Limited forever. They then turned to the Asia Television Limited, creating a big wave in Hong Kong. After this battle, the Asia Television Limited won the biggest victory in the competition with Wireless, especially the broadcast of Millionaire every week, which raised a wave in Hong Kong. Many television magazines published articles saying that the Asia Television Limited was going to rise again. It was already October. Yin Tong called Zhou Hao and asked him to return to Xiang City. Even though the people around Zhou Hao thought that with his achievements, it was no longer important whether he should continue his studies or not. However, Yin Tong still traditional thought that Zhou Hao was still a student at his age. Even if Zhou Hao could not go to school every day like other normal students, he still had to go back and take a look. With Yin Tong's high-pressure method, and with Zhou Hao's Heavenly River Drink Group officially pushing out the orange and orange market, Zhou Hao planned to go back to Xiang City. As for Hong Kong, with Song Jiahao looking at Galaxy Investment, and Su Lin looking at Asia Television Limited, Zhou Hao was still very assured. It was afternoon when they returned to Xiang City alone. Yin Tong and Yin Qingqing stayed at home to wait for Zhou Hao when they knew he was back. Therefore, the moment Zhou Hao opened the door, he saw Yin Tong and Yin Qingqing's niece at the door. Mom, cousin Qingqing. Zhou Hao greeted the two of them with a smile and looked at Yin Qingqing who was standing behind Yin Tong at the same time. Compared to the last time Zhou Hao left Xiang City, Yin Qingqing looked much more mature now. She seemed to have specially dressed up. She seemed to be wearing a light blue short skirt. She revealed her graceful figure and her snow-white long legs. Zhou Hao knew that Yin Qingqing rarely wore this kind of skin-tight miniskirt. She probably wore it for his sake this time. Furthermore, when Yin Qingqing saw Zhou Hao, although she could still maintain her rationality and stand behind Yin Tong, her eyes were already covered with a faint layer of water vapor, and her body seemed to tremble slightly. It was obvious that she missed Zhou Hao very much. With Yin Tong present, even though Yin Tong knew about the matter between the two of them, Zhou Hao still held back the impulse to go forward and hug Yin Qingqing. At this time, Yin Tong also kindly touched his head and sighed with emotion. Why haven't I seen you for a while? You seem to have grown taller again. In a few more days, I'm afraid I won't be able to touch your head anymore. In order to return to Yining Middle School, Zhou Hao changed into his school uniform. This was given to Yin Tong by Li Ruolin when school started. Li Ruolin knew Zhou Hao's size, so this school uniform fit him very well. Zhou Hao really felt a little emotional about this school uniform on the bed, be it in his heart or experience. Zhou Hao was no longer a student. Just like what Zhou Hao had done in Hong Kong during this period of time, which middle school student could make money in Southeast Asia by taking advantage of the financial storm, and which middle school student could buy the Asia Television Limited and beat up the Wireless Television Limited. Furthermore, Zhou Hao also felt a little embarrassed. Although he was a first-year high school student in name, up until now, he had not returned to school once. Just because of this matter, Li Ruolin had nagged Zhou Hao quite a bit over the phone. Yin Qingqing, who was beside him, was considerate as she flipped Zhou Hao's collar. She even smiled as she said, I'm used to seeing you wearing a suit, but I'm not used to you wearing a school uniform. Zhou Hao smiled bitterly. Just say that I don't look like a student. Yin Qingqing tapped the tip of Zhou Hao's nose. Tell me, when did you look like a student? Is there a student as perverted as you? As she spoke, her face turned red. After leaving home, Zhou Hao drove to Yining Middle School, and then Yin Qingqing drove to the Tongguang Food Company. It was almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. According to normal circumstances, school time would have passed long ago. It was almost time for school to end. Looking at the tightly shut school gate, Zhou Hao sighed slightly and entered through the side door. When the guard saw that Zhou Hao was wearing the uniform of Yining Middle School, he did not stop him. As it was still class time, Zhou Hao felt that the surroundings were very quiet. There were only some classes taking physical education lessons in the distance, and there were loud noises coming from them. Zhou Hao searched and came to the classroom of grade 15 and class 15, but he saw that there was no one in the classroom. There were only bags and books in each seat. Zhou Hao was stunned. He stepped out of the door and looked at the sect on the wall. At the same time, he scratched his head. It's grade 15 and class 15. Did I enter the wrong classroom? The students of grade 12 and 16 next door were in class. Through the window, they saw Zhou Hao in the corridor. Those students were curious because they had never seen Zhou Hao before. However, because Zhou Hao was tall and handsome, he attracted the attention of many girls. At this time, Zhou Hao saw a middle-aged man wearing glasses walking towards him from the corridor. He was holding a lesson plan in his hand. He must be a teacher in the school. Zhou Hao immediately walked over. "Hello, teacher. Do you know where the students of grade 15 and class 5 are? Are they taking physical education classes?" The male teacher adjusted his glasses. "You are also a student of grade 15 and 5? You don't know either?" "Yes, I took a leave of absence these few days, so I'm not sure." Zhou Hao casually found an excuse. Seeing that Zhou Hao was still considered polite, the male teacher said, "They are going to compete with grade 1 class 7 today. They should be at the stadium right now. Today, they are going to compete for the championship of the Freshman Cup." Zhou Hao was quite curious when he heard this. The sports stadium in Ening Middle School was an indoor basketball court, so this Freshman Cup should be a basketball match. He smiled at the male teacher and said, "Thank you, teacher." Then, he turned around and walked towards the gymnasium. The gymnasium was on the other side of the sports field. It was quite far from the teaching building. As he walked closer to the gymnasium, Zhou Hao heard cheers and cheers coming from inside. Entering the gymnasium, Zhou Hao saw many students in the audience seats on both sides of the stadium. On the basketball court, the 10 athletes from the two classes were running back and forth to organize their attacks and defense. Zhou Hao recognized that some of them were his classmates from junior high. They were all boys who liked to play basketball and were good at it. However, he did not know which of them were from class 5 and class 7. After all, even if they were Zhou Hao's classmates in the past, they might still be sent to other classes now. Zhou Hao raised his head to look at the scoreboard again and realized that the competition had just entered the fourth quarter. However, Class 7 had 75 points, while Class 5 only had 49 points. They had actually fallen behind by nearly 30 points. At the same time, Zhou Hao also saw Li Ruolin standing in front of the audience seats on the left side, cheering and cheering for Class 5's athletes. Wang Shijuan, Situ Jianying, and more than 40 students were cheering in the front of the audience seats. They must be students of Class 5. Among the students, Zhou Hao found many familiar faces. They were all in the same class as him in junior high. Even Lu Shichao, Gao Jingyi, and Luo Hui were among them. There were also a few boys in basketball uniforms who were resting on the ground. They were sweating all over. They must have just retired from the court to rest. It was just that he did not know if they were the main players or the reserve players. They were all old acquaintances. Zhou Hao smiled in his heart and walked towards them. Li Ruolin, Wang Shijuan, and the others were all encouraging the athletes on the field, but they did not notice Zhou Hao, who was walking towards them. Li Ruolin only looked at Zhou Hao in surprise when Zhou Hao went straight to Li Ruolin's side and called, "Teacher Li? Teacher Li, I'm back." Zhou Hao smiled at Li Ruolin, whose face was full of surprise. Li Ruolin did not expect Zhou Hao to come back today, but she did not expect him to come to school immediately. Wang Shijuan and Situ Jianying also saw Zhou Hao at this time, so they immediately walked over and sweetly called out to him. Zhou Hao looked at the two girls and smiled. "Haha, we will be classmates from now on." Zhou Hao. On the other side, Lu Shichao also jogged over. His belly was jumping up and down cutely. He ran straight to Zhou Hao and gave him a heavy punch in the chest. "Stinking brat, you don't even want to come back from Hong Kong? You don't even want to participate in the military training? To think that we were beaten to death by those instructors in the sun and rain. On the contrary, you'll only come back after the military training is over." Zhou Hao secretly laughed in his heart when he heard Lu Shichao say, "I'm going through a lot of training." However, when he saw that the originally fair and fat Lu Shichao had become much darker, Zhou Hao also knew that the military training was indeed very tough. Wang Shijuan and Situ Jianying had also participated in the military training, but they were girls, so naturally they would receive preferential treatment from the instructors. Furthermore, Zhou Hao knew that they were born with natural beauty. They were the kind of people who could not be tanned no matter how much they were exposed to the sun. When Zhou Hao and Lu Shichao were getting along, Gao Jingyi also saw him over there. Luo Hui, who was beside her, pulled her and also walked over. Zhou Hao felt a little conflicted when he saw Gao Jingyi walking towards him. Regardless of whether it was during the last period of junior high or later from Li Ruolin's mouth, Zhou Hao knew that Gao Jingyi, this proud and aloof girl, had fallen in love with him. It was just that Zhou Hao felt that he had a lot of women by his side, and Gao Jingyi was going overseas in a few days, so he did not dare to accept it rashly. Even so, every time Zhou Hao saw Gao Jingyi's resentful and self-pitying gaze, there would always be a bitter taste in his heart. When Gao Jingyi and Luo Hui came in front of him, Zhou Hao revealed a smile and said hi to them. Gao Jingyi looked at him with a complicated look and said softly, long time no see. Yes, long time no see. Facing Gao Jingyi's gaze that seemed to contain thousands of words, Zhou Hao really did not know what to say. Just as Gao Jingyi wanted to say something to Zhou Hao, the two of them suddenly heard a sharp whistle. At the same time, a basketball bounced out of the basketball court and headed towards them. Zhou Hao picked up the basketball that had rolled to his feet and saw a boy about 1.8 meters tall wearing basketball sportswear walk over. Looking at his jersey, it was obvious that he was a player from Class 7. This boy first gave Gao Jingyi a deep look, then shifted his gaze to Zhou Hao. The moment he saw this boy's gaze, Zhou Hao felt a strong hostility. The boy also reached out his hand to Zhou Hao and said arrogantly, "Give it to me." Zhou Hao knew he wanted a basketball, but Zhou Hao was not happy with the guy's attitude. He did not answer. He threw the basketball to the judge who was walking over. Anyway, the whistle just now was because the basketball had gone out of bounds. If he were to restart the game, he still had to give the basketball to the referee first. However, Zhou Hao's actions were clearly not giving this boy any face. The boy glared at Zhou Hao. The muscles on his face twitched. "You." However, at this time, the referee had already walked over and indicated for the boy to restart the game. And in front of so many people, he did not dare to do anything to Zhou Hao, so he snorted heavily and turned around to catch the basketball. When he turned around, he gave Gao Jingyi a deep look. "Tisich, what are you so arrogant for?" Lu Shichao was obviously very unhappy with this boy as well. Zhou Hao asked him, "Who is this guy? Is he from Class 7? Lu Shichao nodded. "That guy is called Wei Yingyang. He is the son of our new principal, Wei Yuanjun. He is usually arrogant and despotic. He does not care about anyone in school. 4. However, even though he's very unhappy, this guy's basketball skills are really good. He brought Class 7 to lead our class by more than 20 points. Zhou Hao frowned. "Our school changed its principal?" "Yes, the original principal was transferred to the Bureau of Education in the city. This Wei Yuanjun seems to have been transferred from the Guangzhou." Lu Shichao curled his lips and said, "That Wei Yingyang always likes to run to our class." He went close to Zhou Hao's ear and whispered, "It's because there are many beautiful girls in our class. Needless to say, Gao Jingyi, Shijuan, and Situ Jianying are also very beautiful. There are also some pretty girls, plus Teacher Li is also our teacher. So now everyone calls our Class 5 Fragrance Nation." Zhou Hao also realized that other than the original junior high school students, the girls from other schools were assigned to grade 15 and 5. Their appearance and quality were relatively high, and with the addition of the 178 ugly female, the girls in grade 15 and 16 class that Zhou Hao was in were very pleasing to the eye. Furthermore, there were also girls like Wang Shijuan, Situ Jianying, and Gao Jingyi, as well as Li Ruolin, who was the best in the crowd. It was no wonder grade 15 and class 5 had the nickname Fragrance Nation. At this moment, other than the students of grade 15 and class 5, many students from other classes were cheering. On the basketball court, Wei Yingyang received the ball from the three-point line. He quickly passed through the defensive players of grade 5 and went straight to the basket. Then, with a jump, he threw the ball into the basket with his right hand, completing a standard one-handed layup. Class 7 was once again 2 points ahead of the others. The students of Class 7 on the opposite side stood up and cheered. The students of the other classes were also excited by Wei Yingyang's basketball skills and sports abilities. From the perspective of an ordinary person, Wei Yingyang, who was 1.8 meters tall, had an outstanding jumping ability. However, Wei Yingyang, who had landed on the ground, turned around and looked at Class 5. He first looked at Gao Jingyi, Wang Shijuan, and Situ Jianying with a smile on his face. Finally, he fixed his gaze on Zhou Hao. That smile also turned into a sneer, full of provocation. "Damn it, the difference in grades has been increased again." Lu Shichao clenched his fists and said, looking at his appearance, if it was not for the limitation of his body and sports ability, he would have rushed in and had a good fight with the players in Class 7. Suddenly, Lu Shichao turned his head and looked at Zhou Hao. "Zhou Hao, I remember that you played well in basketball too. Why don't you go on stage? Seeing how arrogant Wei Yingyang was just now, you should teach him a good lesson." When Lu Shichao said this, Wang Shijuan, Situ Jianying, Gao Jingyi, and even Li Ruolin looked at him. Zhou Hao was also secretly angry at Wei Yingyang's provocation just now. However, he did not know whether it was appropriate for him to rashly go on stage. So he looked at Li Ruolin. "Teacher Li, is it okay?" The corner of Li Ruolin's mouth curled up. "Of course it is. You are also a student of Class 5. Furthermore, you have not returned from school until now. You did not even participate in the military training. It is also time to contribute your strength to the class." Wang Shijuan and Situ Jianying's eyes were filled with excitement when they heard her. Although they had never seen Zhou Hao play basketball, they were very confident in him. The few players who were resting on the ground also looked at Zhou Hao curiously. They did not know Zhou Hao, so they did not know his basketball skills. However, Zhou Hao was 1.8 meters tall. Even if his basketball skills were not good, he could still defend. After all, very few first-year students were over 1.8 meters tall. But I don't have a jersey. Zhou Hao thought of another problem. Situ Jianying, who was next to him, immediately smiled and said, "This is not a problem. We originally planned to use these jerseys as one of the class uniform. Everyone in the class gets one set. Teacher Li has already prepared one for you. Come with me, it is in the changing room." After saying that, she pulled Zhou Hao towards the changing room over there. When the classmates in the class saw Situ Jianying pulling Zhou Hao's hand towards the locker room without any hesitation, their gazes all became strange. Wang Shijuan also wanted to go with them, but when she saw the gazes of the classmates in the class, coupled with her shy personality, she gritted her teeth and did not follow them in. Gao Jingyi looked at Zhou Hao and Situ Jianying's back view, and her beautiful eyes became even more distressed and messy. On the first day Situ Jianying and Wang Shijuan entered the school, she recognized Situ Jianying. It was the girl who came to Yining Middle School to find Zhou Hao. At that time, Gao Jingyi thought that Situ Jianying was a senior in the senior year. Now she knew that she was the same age as her. Because of Zhou Hao, Gao Jingyi, who was not good at dealing with people, was even more like a stranger to Situ Jianying. Even when they met, they did not greet each other. Li Ruolin also noticed Gao Jingyi's expression and secretly shook her head in her heart. She felt helpless towards this little enemy of hers. She felt that although Zhou Hao was not that kind of playboy, he was also a typical playboy. No matter where he went, there was no lack of women falling in love with him. In the locker room, Situ Jianying took out a black basketball suit that was still in the bag from the cabinet. The number on it was number 9. Zhou Hao had once told Li Ruolin that the NBA player she liked was number 9. Li Ruolin remembered it at that time. Without delay, Zhou Hao took off his clothes and wanted to change into his basketball uniform. Situ Jianying, who was next to him, saw his bulging muscles and could not help but reach out to touch him. She took advantage of the gap between Zhou Hao's clothes and touched a lot of oil. After Zhou Hao changed his clothes, she even kissed Zhou Hao's lips. All right. I'm still waiting outside. If I don't hurry up, I won't be able to catch up with the score." Zhou Hao kissed Situ Jianying passionately for a while before letting go of her and walking out. Situ Jianying was not the kind of person who would cause trouble without reason, so she did not bother him anymore. After Zhou Hao came out of the changing room dressed in basketball, the eyes of the girls outside immediately lit up. Li Ruolin also made a gesture to the referee to pause the substitution. The referee, who was a sports teacher, walked over and said to Li Ruolin, "Teacher Li, your class is going to be substituted?" Li Ruolin nodded and pointed at Zhou Hao, who was walking to her side, with her chin. "Yes, it is him." The referee looked at Zhou Hao. "What's your name?" "Zhou Hao." The referee looked through the list of boys in grade 15 and 5 and found Zhou Hao's name. He nodded and allowed him to go on stage. Li Ruolin also let the big forward on the stage back off and replaced it with Zhou Hao. This big forward was also 1.8 meters tall. In the match just now, he was on par with Wei Yingyang and was specialized in defending him. It was just that his basketball skills were too different from Wei Yingyang's, so he could not defend at all. At this time, he was also exhausted. Even if Li Ruolin did not change into Zhou Hao, he would still retreat. "Zhou Hao, good luck." Lu Shichao, Wang Shijuan, and the others shouted at Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao turned around and smiled confidently at them, then walked into the arena with his head held high. There were still slightly more than 10 minutes left before the fourth quarter. Class 5, on the other hand, had just gone through a lot of hard work and had managed to shorten the gap between their points by a little. However, they were still behind Wei Yingyang, who was leading Class 7 by 25 points. Wei Yingyang saw that Zhou Hao had changed into a jersey and walked onto the stage. The corners of his mouth curled into a contemptuous smile. From afar, he made a hand gesture to cut Zhou Hao's neck with his palm. Zhou Hao naturally knew that it was a very serious provocation gesture. In an NBA game, if a player made this gesture, it would be considered a technical foul. But in a game like this, no one cared. Besides, Wei Yingyang was the son of the new principal, Wei Yuanjun. The sports teachers did not dare to do anything to him. Zhou Hao naturally did not want to bother such a person. He just wanted to teach him a good lesson later. He came to the court of his class and said to the other 4 players of Class 5, "Hello everyone. My name is Zhou Hao." "Zhou Hao, you're finally back." This person was called Tong Yaowen. He was Zhou Hao's classmate in junior high. He had played basketball with Zhou Hao once before and knew that Zhou Hao's basketball skills were good. Today, he played as the point guard of Class 5. Zhou Hao nodded at him. At this time, the referee's whistle sounded again, indicating that the match would continue. When Class 7 started the ball, Class 7's point guard passed the ball to Wei Yang, who was also the vanguard. It seemed that he would still have to use him as the point of attack, because 8 meters in height was already very outstanding in the first year of high school. Therefore, Zhou Hao and Wei Yang were both the vanguard of their team, and they were also in a good position. Zhou Hao knew that Wei Yang would attack, so he didn't take the initiative to go over. He just stood under the basketball and waited for him in the two subdivisions. Wei Yang looked at Zhou Hao proudly. He walked towards Zhou Hao while holding the ball. He even deliberately did the dribbling of the ball in front of Zhou Hao and behind him. His movements were quite skillful, which made Wei Yang look very eye-catching. Zhou Hao just stood there quietly and looked at Wei Yang indifferently. From Wei Yang and the other's point of view, Zhou Hao looked more like he was shocked by Wei Yang's movements. He did not know how to defend himself. Even the players in Class 5 looked at Zhou Hao with disappointment. Only Tong Yaowen was puzzled. Wei Yang looked at Zhou Hao's indifferent look and laughed in his heart. Then he took a step to the left and right and made a fake move, wanting to break Zhou Hao's layup. Zhou Hao was still standing there without moving. Wei Yang sneered in his heart. He suddenly accelerated and rushed past Zhou Hao. When he passed by Zhou Hao, he used a voice that was neither light nor heavy to ridicule. Trash. However, when Wei Yang passed Zhou Hao and was about to rush to the basket and put the basketball in his hand into the basket, he felt something strange, because he felt that he could not catch the basketball in his hand. At first, he thought that the basketball had not been bounced back when it hit the ground, but after waiting for half a second, before the ball returned to his hand, Wei Yang lowered his head in shock. When he saw it, he was stunned, because the basketball wasn't in his hand at all, and it didn't hit the ground either. It was completely gone. At this time, the surrounding players and the players from Class 5 also cried out in alarm. They all looked behind Wei Yang. Wei Yang followed their eyes and looked back. He could not believe that Zhou Hao was skillfully holding the ball and running towards the rebound board. He actually stole the ball in Wei Yang's hand without making a sound. 2 or 3 meters in front of the rebound board, Zhou Hao took a big step and jumped up high. Under the eyes of everyone in the basketball court, Zhou Hao jumped up 2 or 3 meters in front of the rebound and flew towards the rebound like a glider. His right hand, which was holding the basketball, spun in a reverse clockwise direction and smashed the basketball into the basket. Almost at the same time as the basketball fell to the ground, the entire basketball court fell into silence. It was as if time had stopped, and even the air had stopped moving. Hua dash. The first to react were the students from grade 15 and class 15. They were so excited that they cheered loudly and desperately clapped their hands. Then they led the others in the basketball court, making the entire basketball court boil. Even the students of grade 17 looked at Zhou Hao in shock. If Zhou Hao used the genuine aura and 100% of his strength, then it wouldn't be impossible for him to jump from the three-point line to complete the slam dunk. However, Zhou Hao could not reveal the secret of his martial arts in public. It would be too shocking. Even imitating Michael, Zhou Hao was not willing to jump on the free throw line like Jordan, because it was too exaggerated for a high school student like him. It might attract people from the national sports industry. When the time came, he would be annoyed. Therefore, Zhou Hao controlled his sports ability to a normal range. It was not to the extent that people would not be unable to accept it. However, he had quietly snatched the basketball from Wei Yang's hand and passed through the stadium to complete this big pinwheel dunk, which was enough to shock everyone. No one had thought that such a basketball expert would be hiding in grade 1, class 5, which was so badly suppressed by grade 1, class 7. The hardest thing to accept was that he still had to count on Wei Yang. Until now, he had yet to react. He had played basketball for many years, and had even gone to the sports school to exercise for it. Until Zhou Hao appeared, he could not find anyone in Yining Middle School who could match him. Before Zhou Hao arrived, he was still the center of attention of everyone in the basketball court. To him, this match was more like a performance of his own. And the one who pulled him down from this high and mighty stage was precisely Zhou Hao. In the audience seats of grade 15 and class 15, Wang Shijuan and Situ Jianying's faces were flushed red. Their eyes were filled with excitement and pride as they firmly locked onto Zhou Hao. Li Rulin also looked at Zhou Hao with a smile. She knew that Zhou Hao could help grade 15 and class 15 turn the tide. As for Gao Jingyi, her gaze towards Zhou Hao was also very complicated. She admired Zhou Hao but also had a trace of resentment and melancholy. Is that boy really from our class? The girls from grade 15 and grade 15 behind looked at the tall and handsome Zhou Hao on the field and started to discuss. Is he that Zhou Hao? I heard that he has been in Hong Kong all this time. Could he be from Hong Kong? That slam dunk just now was too cool. Look, look, look. He's smiling at us. Too handsome. I'm going to die. Another girl cupped her fists and said. As she spoke, the match continued and Class 7 started the game. This time, Wei Yingyang did not wait for the control guard to pass half the game and directly asked him for the ball. The control guard did not dare to go against his wishes and immediately passed the basketball to him. Wei Yingyang moved the ball towards the position of Class 5, while Zhou Hao was still standing in the three-point line. He looked at Wei Yingyang from a distance, and his eyes were still indifferent. He must have been lucky to steal my ball just now. He can't be so fast, Wei Yingyang said to himself in his heart. At the same time, he couldn't help turning his head to look at the audience of Class 5. He saw Wang Shijuan, Situ Jianying, Gao Jingyi, and everyone else looking at him. They were not looking at him, but Zhou Hao. Wang Shijuan, Situ Jianying, and Gao Jingyi were paying close attention to him, which made Wei Yingyang's heart burn with jealousy. He walked closer to Zhou Hao and saw that Zhou Hao was the same as before. He still did not move, and just looked at him indifferently. Wei Yingyang took the ball and made a shot position, but it was a fake move. He immediately bent over and passed through Zhou Hao's left side. This time, he deliberately grabbed the ball to prevent Zhou Hao from breaking it. When he passed Zhou Hao, he looked down at his hand. When he saw that the basketball was still there, he heaved a sigh of relief. After passing Zhou Hao, there were no longer any defensive players in front of them. The players in Class 5 were all stopped by Wei Yingyang's teammates. Zhou Hao's big pinwheel dunk had caused the whole stadium to boil. Wei Yingyang wanted to respond. However, although his jumping ability was much stronger than ordinary people, he could not jump and dunk 3 meters away from the rebound like Zhou Hao did. When he was about 2 meters away from the basket, he jumped up abruptly. He held the ball with one hand and spun it up and down from the bottom, trying to catch the ball in the basket. However, when he jumped to the front of the rebound and was about to catch the ball, he suddenly heard his teammate shouting at him, Wei Yingyang, be careful. Wei Yingyang did not know what was going on and wanted to complete the slam dunk, but he suddenly felt a piercing sound behind him. Before he could react, he saw a hand reach out from his head and hit the basketball in his hand. That hand was very strong, and it immediately knocked the basketball out. Wei Yingyang's wish to complete the slam dunk also disappeared. 1. Taking advantage of the time when he landed, he turned around and looked back. He saw that the person who had come after him to cover himself was Zhou Hao, and he had already grabbed the rebound. He suddenly rushed towards the rebound on the opposite side. Under the cheers of the entire stadium, Wei Yingyang only felt a humiliation that he had never felt before. Zhou Hao's pursuit of the rebound cap just now had completely destroyed his prestige. However, he immediately gritted his teeth and suppressed the anger in his heart. He shouted to his teammates next to him, Quick, catch up to him and defend. After saying that, he took the lead to chase after Zhou Hao. At the same time, those who followed behind Zhou Hao also followed. There were also players from Class 5. After Zhou Hao had grabbed the rebound, they had already consciously rushed up to help Zhou Hao. Wei Yingyang was running very fast, even faster than the sprinters in track and field. Looking at Zhou Hao's back, his heart was filled with fire. He swore that he would catch up with Zhou Hao. Zhou Hao did not dare to use his light body technique, but he controlled his speed. In a clever range, it did not exceed the range of normal people, but also did not allow Wei Yingyang to catch up. He kept a distance of less than 1 meter from Wei Yingyang. Very quickly, they ran to the front of the rebound board. Zhou Hao did not slow down at all and continued to rush forward. This time, he did not want to dunk, but wanted to gently throw the ball into the basket. When Zhou Hao bent his legs and was about to jump, Wei Yingyang had already jumped high up in the air. He wanted to put a big hat on Zhou Hao. However, when he waved his right hand to cover Zhou Hao's cap, he suddenly realized that there was no ball in Zhou Hao's hand. Zhou Hao and Wei Yingyang's bodies continued to fall forward due to inertia. Wei Yingyang, who had jumped up high, fell out of the arena. Wei Yingyang, who had vaguely understood what was going on, immediately turned around to look after landing. As expected, he saw that the center of attention, who was originally running behind Zhou Hao in Class 5, had already reached the basket. He was holding the basketball that had disappeared from Zhou Hao's hands. Under no one's defense, he easily sent the basketball board into the basket. It turned out that when Wei Yingyang was only paying attention to him, Zhou Hao had secretly passed the ball in his hand to his teammates who were following him from behind. Moreover, he continued to finish his shot. Because of his continuous movements, not only Wei Yingyang, but also the audience outside the court thought that Zhou Hao was going to shoot, but they did not expect him to pass the ball. Even the center of Class 5 was a little confused when he received Zhou Hao's pass. Why did the ball end up in my hands? However, he also knew that this was a crucial time for the competition, so he didn't plan to figure it out. He seized the opportunity and sent the ball into the basket. After that, he realized that Zhou Hao had made an extremely wonderful assist for himself. Zhou Hao turned around and walked to the center of the ball. He lifted his right palm, which was full of excitement. The center of the ball also raised its right palm and hit Zhou Hao with it. It gave a clear and crisp applause. Zhou Hao, that assist just now was too beautiful. Even I thought you were going to shoot. I was afraid you would eat Wei Yingyang's hat. Tong Yaowen, who walked up to Zhou Hao, praised him. The other teammates also gave Zhou Hao a thumbs up. Zhou Hao smiled and accepted the praise from his teammates. The audience outside the stadium also gave Zhou Hao a warm round of applause and cheers. The girls in grade 15 and 5 spontaneously formed a temporary cheerleading team. They stood in front of the audience and cheered for the players in Class 5 and Zhou Hao in unison. Only Wei Yingyang, who was standing outside the stadium, was staring at him while gnashing his teeth in anger. He wished he could eat his meat and drink his blood. Although he could not compare with professional players, the players in Class 5 all had good basketball skills. They had been suppressed by Wei Yingyang in Class 7 before, which had weakened their morale and fighting spirit. Now that Zhou Hao had come and contributed 2 wonderful attacks, their morale had all been restored. There were still 7 to 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. There was still time. Tong Yaowen and the others had strong fighting spirit in their eyes. They believed that with Zhou Hao around, their class would have a chance to turn defeat into victory. The last lesson of the first year of high school was usually self-study. When the students of the other classes knew that Class 5 and Class 7 were having the Freshman Cup, they rushed over to compete for the championship. Especially when Zhou Hao's 2 brilliant attacks were quickly spread to the other classes, there were even more people who rushed over to watch the battle. So very quickly, the audience seats in the gymnasium were all filled with people. Even the empty space outside the stadium was empty. There were only 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and the difference between Class 5 and Class 7 was reduced to 6. In just a few minutes, Class 7 was being chased by Class 5 and lost 20 points. Wei Yingyang, who was originally the most important attacking point in Class 7, was not able to get a single point under Zhou Hao's defense. From the fourth quarter until now, he could only rely on the other 4 players to score. However, other than Wei Yingyang, the players in Class 7 were on par with Tong Yaowen and the others in Class 5. In the entire fourth quarter, Class 7 only had a pitiful 70% score. They had to take advantage of the time when Zhou Hao went to defend Wei Yingyang. Compared to Wei Yingyang, who could not even get a single point from Zhou Hao's defense, no one could block Zhou Hao's attack. He either dunked, shot from afar, or helped his teammates score points. It was Zhou Hao's credit that Class 5 was able to force Class 7 to this extent. At this moment, the audience seats of the basketball court were filled with students who had come to watch the battle. Seeing Zhou Hao and the others' wonderful performance on the court, they were not stingy with the applause. At the same time, they asked who Zhou Hao was. Zhou Hao, do your best. Class 5, do your best. The students in Class 5 cheered for Zhou Hao and the players in Class 5 excitedly. Among them, Lu Shichao, Wang Shijuan, and Situ Jianying were the most excited. Lu Shichao even became the temporary captain of this Class 5 cheerleading team, directing everyone to shout slogans together. The game went on very intensely. More than a minute passed. Class 5 got another 7 points under Zhou Hao's lead. Class 7 also got 2 points with great difficulty under the tight defense of Class 5. There was still 1 point left between the 2 classes. There was only half a minute left, and the ball was still in the hands of Class 7. Wei Yingyang could be seen moving the ball. At the same time, he directed his teammates to run. He shouted loudly, slow down, don't let their rhythm be messed up." He deliberately slowed down so that he could buy as much time as possible. It would be best to finish the last attack so that Class 5 would not have the chance to turn the tables. However, looking at Zhou Hao on the other side, Wei Yingyang's heart was filled with hatred. Because ever since Zhou Hao arrived, he had been tightly restrained by Zhou Hao and did not even get a single point. Holding the ball, he stood outside the 3-point line. When there were only 7 seconds left, and there was only 1 second left for Class 7 to attack, Wei Yingyang raised both of his hands. It seemed like he was going to throw 3 points. At this time, Zhou Hao also ran over from the 2 divisions. He jumped up in front of Wei Yingyang and reached out his right hand to cover his eyes. Wei Yingyang smiled proudly and wanted to jump into the air and crash into Zhou Hao. The faces of the players in Class 5 all changed because Wei Yingyang clearly wanted to beat Zhou Hao's foul to make him throw a free ball steadily. His shooting rate was also very high. Moreover, the fouls outside the three-point line were usually able to get 3 free throws. Even the referee on the other side was biting his whistle. As long as Wei Yingyang and Zhou Hao's bodies came into contact, he would immediately blow it. Just when everyone thought that Zhou Hao would inevitably break the rules, they saw Zhou Hao's body agilely turn in the air. He dodged to the side. Obviously, Wei Yingyang did not expect Zhou Hao to make such a move in the air. He also missed the ball. In a daze, he forgot to throw the ball. He landed on the ground just like that, and Zhou Hao stood steadily beside him. Beep, beep, beep. The referee blew his whistle, but because Wei Yingyang did not touch Zhou Hao, his movements caused him to violate the rules. Yay! The players from Class 5 and the students outside the stadium all cheered excitedly. If Wei Yingyang's foul tactic succeeded this time, Class 5 would not have a chance anymore. After Tong Yawen started the game, he passed the ball to Zhou Hao, who had already become the core of Class 5, so that he could complete the last 6 seconds of attack. However, the people of Class 7 had also expected Zhou Hao to be the core of the attack. Therefore, when Zhou Hao passed through half the match, they immediately sent 2 people to trap him. Wei Yingyang was also one of the people who trapped Zhou Hao. He shouted to his teammates, "Guard him! Guard against him!" Under this pincer, Zhou Hao could do nothing about it. If he used brute force to push them away, it would be a violation of the rules. Looking at the electronic clock on the wall, time passed second by second. There were less than 3 seconds left. Wei Yingyang and the players from Class 7 all had happy expressions on their faces. As long as they could hold on, they would win. Zhou Hao also saw that there was no one guarding Tong Yawen outside the three-point line. He immediately threw the ball between Wei Yingyang and another player from Class 7, passing it to Tong Yawen. When Wei Yingyang saw this, he immediately shouted, "Quick, defend against him. He wants to throw 3 points." He immediately threw Zhou Hao aside and ran towards Tong Yawen at a speed of 100 meters. At this time, Tong Yawen looked around and raised his hand to jump into a standard three-pointers position. Wei Yingyang had already run to him. He reached out his right hand to cover Tong Yawen's eyes. He knew that he could no longer cover himself, so he could only take a step back and interfere with Tong Yawen's accuracy. The basketball flew out of Tong Yawen's hand and drew a parabola in the air. The players from Class 5 and Class 7 on the court looked nervously at the basketball in the air. At the same time, the numbers on the electronic clock on the wall were also jumping. The time was also counting down. 3 seconds. 2 seconds. However, when the basketball flew to the side of the rebound, it was obvious that it was flying to the right, and it was getting further and further away from the basket. Wei Yingyang, who was also paying attention to the basketball's movement, also had a smile on his face and could not help but shout out, "It's an air ball that doesn't touch anything. It's the air ball that doesn't touch 3 times." Everyone knew that the ball thrown by Tong Yawen could not even touch the rebound. The players of Class 5 already had a feeling of despair. Class 7 held back his anger and looked at the basketball in the sky. He kept praying in his heart, "Don't go in. Don't go in." Just as everyone's gaze was focused on the basketball in the sky, a figure leaped into the sky like a rock spreading its wings. It stretched out its right hand and firmly grabbed the basketball in the air and fiercely smashed it into the basket in front of it. Beep, beep, beep. The whistle sounded, and the match ended. The basketball also fell from the basket's net, and the figure still grabbed the basket and hung on it. It was Zhou Hao. It turned out that Tong Yawen's previous throw was not a three-pointer, but a pass, allowing Zhou Hao to catch the ball in the air. Everyone looked at the referee, because Zhou Hao had thrown the basketball into the basket at the last second. Under everyone's nervous gazes, the referee made a gesture with both hands, and then, on the scoreboard, Class 5's score was increased by 2 points. In other words, Zhou Hao's catch in the air was effective. This was a perfect killer move. At the last moment, Zhou Hao killed Class 7. The entire gymnasium boiled up, particularly the players from Class 5. They excitedly rushed to Zhou Hao's side, who had fallen to the ground, and hugged him tightly. Although today was their first meeting, Zhou Hao had given them too many surprises. When they were almost 30 points behind, he had led them to turn the tables in the last quarter of the game, and they had won the game in the end. Zhou Hao also smiled at Tong Yawen and said, "What a beautiful assistant. I saw your eyes and I knew your strategy." Tong Yawen also smiled. On the court, apart from personal sports, the most important thing was the tacit understanding between teammates. The students of Class 5 who were originally in the audience also ran into the court. Lu Shichao even hugged Zhou Hao and said, "Zhou Hao, you are too amazing, really amazing. Our class can win the championship." Gao Jingyi also came to Zhou Hao's side and looked at him with sparkling eyes. She then smiled faintly and said, "Congratulations." Zhou Hao smiled and nodded. "It's all thanks to everyone. I just joined midway." Situ Jinying smiled at Zhou Hao and said, "Luckily you only went on stage for the last quarter. If you went on stage right from the beginning, we would definitely win more than 30 points from Class 7. Lu Shichao also immediately echoed, "That's right, that's right. You didn't see Wei Yingyang's arrogant manner in the first 3 segments, and it made you unhappy. If you came, that guy wouldn't have the chance to play at all." The other boys nodded in agreement. It turned out that the big vanguard who was in charge of defending Wei Yingyang also agreed with him. This was because when Wei Yingyang confronted him, it would always be insulting and boastful. On the other side, Wei Yingyang threw the towel that his classmate handed him to wipe his